Oh, great. Okay.
Hello?
What does that say? Oh,
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I would like to bring the board meeting of the Morongo Valley Community Services District Board of Directors to order. This is our special board meeting of December 3rd, 2021. Call to order, roll call. I'm not sure if Mr. Yearsley is on the phone. He was having trouble with his internet from Euromos, so I will take the roll call. Gail Sport here. Christina Brooke. Christina Brooke. She was here a minute ago. Christina.
Unmute.
Lori
My mute button was not working for a second,
okay.
so I'm here.
Okay. Lori Klimowitz is here.
Here.
Johnny Tolbert. Here. And Christina Gorky.
I'm here.
All right. Johnny, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Johnny. Before we start with the public comments, Director Gorky is going to give an overview of the public comment protocols. Christina?
Hi, everybody. Since I'm figuring this is probably the first time for a lot of attendees on Zoom, and then for people who are familiar with it, please keep your mic on mute until your hand is raised and you're called upon for public comment. Everyone gets 3 minutes of time to speak before we take the next person with their hand raised. If you don't want to wait for your turn to speak, you're welcome to go into the chat and leave a public comment through the chat. It's not necessarily a public comment that will be read officially in the meeting, but you will be able to get your message out to everybody as we go along with this. Beyond raising your hand for the session, there are icons along the bottom of your screen too. If at any time someone is speaking and you want to clap, thumbs up, hearts, any of the response emojis that are listed, you're welcome to do that. But please don't take yourself off if it's not your turn, so that we can keep everything flowing nicely for the conversation and everybody gets an opportunity to speak. Thank you so much.
The only thing I have to add to that is that each person gets 1 3-minute comment. That doesn't mean that you can comment and then wait for a few other people to comment and then come back and comment, because it would take us all night to get through everybody. So really think about what you want to say and how you want to comment, and you will have 1 3-minute opportunity to do so. Thank you. We're now going to do public comments for anyone who would like to speak now. We will also have a public comment period when we come out of closed session. So there will be plenty of opportunity for people to speak who are interested in giving us their comments. I see one hand raised. It's Tom's iPad, or no, that's mine. Who would like to speak, Jim? Do you have anybody with their hand up?
No, I do not.
Okay, so nobody needs, oh, there's Matthew Campos. He wants to speak.
Campos.
Go ahead, Matthew.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Matthew Campos. I've been an 18-year resident here of Morongo Valley. I had the privilege of serving on the CSD board for 5 years. And I would just like to say that, in my opinion, we're at a position where the question is where do we go from here? You know, and I think it's a pretty simple suggestion that since we have Mr. Yearsley has already retired or submitted his notice of retirement, The question is, where do we go? We have a couple of people that are willing to step in and take on the position of interim fire chief and work in the capacity of an interim general manager. I think these two people are extremely capable, and they've been doing the job for Jim's case, I don't know how many hundreds of years. And Brittany has definitely been working in the office with the CSD for several years now. I think a very nice solution, quick solution, would be to thank Mr. Yearsley for his service, congratulate him on his retirement, offer him the payout for the month of December, and let Mr. Brakebill and Ms. Chavez take over and start hiring, start building back better. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Thanks, Matthew. Jake has his hand up.
Hi, my name's Jacob Samuel. I've been attending these meetings pretty much ever I caught word of your guys' possible closure of the fire department. A few things I want to bring up. So in fact, Chief Yearsley is quote unquote retiring on December 31st. So are you guys going to wonder, who's going to ask the question, why is there not a fire chief job posted? You have less than now a month to find someone. I'm just curious, why is there no chief posting? So that tells me right off the bat that he has no intentions of leaving, because you can pull a retirement. That's easy to do. So I have a feeling that this whole he's going to retire thing's not going to happen, and that this temporary closure is just another way for him to stay. If he's retiring, why not leave now? There's people perfectly capable of taking this position right now, right this second. And yet there's not even a fire chief job posted yet.
Good point.
And on top of that, closing your fire department, county's proposal. So you guys are willing to wait 15 to 20 minutes for if you're having a heart attack? Just curious, because those minutes count. Are you guys, everyone willing to wait that long? You have a possible response coming from Yucca Valley. Yucca Valley's had a call increase over the last 2 years. That's why there's an ambulance in Yucca Mesa, because they had to respond down to Yucca Valley to constantly cover for Yucca's ambulances as it is. And why was there no quote for CAL FIRE to maybe come in and help cover? And I know they don't want the area, but I was told last meeting, Chief Yearsley was forced to answer that question. I asked it. He didn't even want to answer it. Thank you, Director Tolbert, for having him answer that question. But he didn't want to answer that question because he didn't do it. I can easily said, yeah, I placed a phone call, but never really did. So I just don't see why he's even still here. You have people who's willing to take the position, hand it over to them. There have been people applying for this position, for positions in Morongo. I am one of them that I've applied. I am certified. But somehow I'm hearing he's not getting the applications, or he's just saying and deeming everyone unqualified when he is somehow unaware of other applicants. I told him about my application. Chief Brakebill knows about my application, and we've talked multiple times on it. So it seems that there's something other than this going on, other than, unqualified people. There seems to be something else going on behind scenes, and it needs to be addressed.
That's why he didn't get
hired. So
thank you.
Okay, your time is up. Thank you very much, Jake, for your comment. Karen.
Hi, everybody. I'm Karen Lowe. I've been a Morongo Valley resident for 20 years, and I just found out that we're having a lot of issues, and it's always an issue in our small town that information doesn't tend to get out completely until, you know, it kind of blows up. So I just would like to say that if there's something so serious going on that we're looking at a possible closure of the fire department, even on a temporary basis, that, you know, we should make some attempt to fold the community in and get all of the correct information out so that we can all participate in this process. So that's my comment. I have heard, you know, a lot of things in the last couple of days about a lot of unhappiness going on in the fire department, which I think is a concern to all of us. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I saw Sue Lefever's hand up. Sue, do you want to speak? Okay, Vanessa, we'll come back to you, Sue, if you want to speak. Vanessa has her hand up.
Hi, thanks so much. I'm sorry I got on a little late. I was struggling to find the Zoom link. I'm wondering if it would be helpful for everyone here, especially the people who have just joined, if we could get a, you know, 2-minute summation of the entire issue at hand and of the entire issue at hand, starting from the beginning and going to the end, so that we're all starting from the same context, because I think we're all joining this conversation at different parts.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. Does anyone else have their hand up? Vanessa, were you finished with your comment?
Yes, yeah, I would just love for that to happen.
Okay, thank you so much. There was someone else with their hand up. Did you see somebody, Jim Brakebill?
No, they lowered their hand.
Okay, all right. So one last chance at this point. You will also have a chance after the closed session when we start talking about the old business, which is fire department staffing concerns and options. So is there anybody else now who would like to speak before we go into closed session? Anyone?
As we're all dumbasses.
Ryan, would you like to speak? Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, my name's Ryan Berry. I'm a battalion chief for Palm Springs Fire Department. So I've got an extensive history in the fire department and am actively involved in leadership and management with a fire department. Before you guys go into closed session, I would urge you guys not to make a drastic decision today. I just today found out about the meeting, as well as found out about the fact that we're even addressing staffing options and other concerns of that nature. The problem that I see right now is that the community at large is really just now finding out about it. Certainly there's a myriad of options that we have, and I would highly encourage you guys not to make a harsh or drastic decision at any point in time, and certainly not today. So for now, I think that's all I have.
Thank you, Ryan. Is there anyone else?
Vanessa.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, Vanessa.
I want to ask one more question.
Okay.
Can you also, for the newbies here, can you explain what going into closed session means and explain the like agenda of what's going to happen from front to back?
Yes, Vanessa, we can do that. The closed session is for public employee performance evaluation, public employee recruitment and appointment, and a conference with legal counsel. And those are all things that under CSD law, we must do in closed session. We're not allowed to do it in an open session. But when we're finished with closed session, we come out. If there were any decisions made that we can make in closed session, we will report that out to everyone when we are finished with the closed session. You know, Matthew,
okay.
Does that answer your question, Vanessa?
Oh, well, it's sort of, how long does that closed session last for? And at what point do you report out? And finally, it sounds like everyone here, the community does not want you to make any decisions in that closed meeting before everyone here is able to weigh in. So I would just say, take that into the meeting, because otherwise you may have some unruly folks on your hands.
Thanks,
Gail,
Vanessa. We'll keep. Yes.
My hand is up, but it's Doug that wants to speak.
Who wants to speak?
Doug Nichols. That's why my hand is up.
All right. Doug?
Go ahead.
Hey, you guys. I don't know if I'm visible, but I just wanted to say that 461 is my team. Those guys do a hell of a good job. And I know they struggle with pay and hours, but 461 is my team, and they're good guys. And I would hope to preserve that. So it's worth pursuing. You keep it up.
Thank you, Doug. Christina Gorky, do you have a comment you want to make?
Yeah, I just wanted to address for anyone that's new to attending CSD meetings and wants to be engaged more with the fire department and kind of get a general summary of what's going on outside of an agendized meeting. Director Tolbert and myself are starting or have already started a special committee that we've meeting at the park on Sundays. We've got one meeting scheduled for this Sunday at 1 o'clock. It's an opportunity for people to bring us ideas, to chat about things, to try and network so that, issues that might come up during regular meetings or what you hear going on in the community, you guys can start to take action and then work to attend as many of our regular board meetings that are scheduled the third Wednesday of every month at 6 o'clock. They are posted on a website for the CSD department. And at this current time, we're in a unique situation. We might have a session in person or online through Zoom, but it is always listed when we're having a board meeting. Chris but if you have more interest in knowing about that or want to attend, you can always message me directly.
I was thinking we should do that again.
Could we mute anybody else who's talking? Thank you, Director Gorky. Are there any people that would like to add a comment that haven't spoken already? Anyone else? Do you see anyone, Jim?
Not at the moment.
Okay, then we are going to now go into closed session, and you are all welcome to wait in the, is it called the chat room, until we're finished. I imagine we're going to be in there for at least maybe an hour, but we'll try to get back to you as quickly as we can.
Wait,
Thank you, Jim.
Suzanne just raised her hand.
Hi,
Okay,
thank
Suzanne.
you. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I'm new to this, and like the few other people that I heard share prior to me, it sounds like this is just becoming everybody's knowledge. What I would like to ask of the board is that you guys postpone making or tabling, making any big decisions so that a community is able to get involved and help you guys in keeping our fire department.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to go into closed session. Jim, would you take us into closed session? And please, everybody,
like
hang out
double
for a
X.
while.
You guys have sizes like that?
Only like fits.
Like shirts, I need shirts. Okay.
Okay, you know what? We're going to have public comments again after the closed session. So we are now going to go into closed session. Jim, would you take the board members into the closed session? And everyone is welcome to wait until we're through with the closed session, and we'll come out and we'll report what was said in the closed session, and we will go on with the rest of the meeting. Thank you.
I don't even know what you're talking about right now. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm in a hurry. We only got certain here. We probably got like another half hour. I mean, another hour here. So we got a lot of shots to keep going through. It's a billable. They don't have any shirts like that, huh? They're more speech shirts.
Could someone who has administrative power leave someone in the waiting room so that we can mute people as need be? Could you appoint someone to do that?
I see no, those are like golf shirts, no
Hey, Madden, can you mute your mic, please?
I'm just walking. I'm slowing down.
Just remember, everything is being recorded.
Does anyone here have the power to mute Madden?
The one person that did just left the chat, so.
I mean, that's, yeah, why I was asking.
Mr. Madden, everybody can hear you.
But he can't hear us. Hey, all, I'm super interested in having this conversation with everyone. I guess that's what we can do while we're in the waiting room, but unfortunately I have to duck out for about 15 minutes. So I hope to communicate with you all in just a few.
Oh. Stop.
Am I in? Oh no, turn it off. Oh my gosh, how do I turn it off?
Ivy. Hi. Hi. Say hi to everyone. Say hi, everyone.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Hi, everyone. Are we meant to sit here in silence, or could we do some introductions and so forth?
I mean, if you want to talk, we all can, I guess.
Okay, I wonder if folks are willing, we can do what we call popcorn at work, which is introduce ourselves and then popcorn it to someone else to introduce them. I see that there are 51 people on this. And so there are 3 different sets of screens of boxes. But if I see any thumbs up or claps, I'll get it going.
I think it would be a good idea.
Okay, we've got like 2 thumbs up, and I'm just gonna take that as a potential maybe sort of okay. And actually for this, I will come on screen so you can see who I am. Hi, everyone. My name is Vanessa Rubel. I live in Morongo Valley, obviously. I have not been here for super long, but I am definitely embedded pretty strongly into the community, and am loving being here, and am originally from Washington, D.C., and then Brooklyn, and then here. So there you got it. And I don't know if there's anything else in terms of intros we want to do. But I will bounce it to Brian Duke.
Unmute my audio, take care of my video. Hi, everyone. Sorry, Vanessa, I was out of the room when you said what we were doing here, but.
Oh, it's okay. I'll tell you.
Introduction.
And other people may have also been. I was just saying, we're doing general introductions. So maybe your name, where you're originally from. Feel free to say what part of Morongo Valley you live in, if you feel comfortable with it.
Sure.
And something about yourself, if you also feel comfortable with it. I didn't expose too much other than where I had come from before.
Right. Well, my name's Brian Duke. I've been a Morongo Valley resident since May of 2020. I live up off of Samuel on the south, I guess, east side of the road. And I absolutely love it here. I'm from San Diego originally, but I've lived in San Francisco, Las Vegas, and Palm Springs. I am a maintenance manager for a drug and alcohol treatment center in Palm Springs, and am sober myself. So anybody else who wants to jump on, go for it.
No, that's not how it works.
Oh, we get to tag people. The tag.
Yeah, otherwise it becomes a whole.
Okay, you got it.
You just got to pick someone and say.
I see Christine Morgan looking right at me.
Morgan,
hi, I'm Christine Morgan. I'm actually
what's up, Morgan?
Paramedic for the fire department.
Oh, because I can see my hand.
And I currently have laryngitis. All I'm gonna say right now, but good to see everybody on the meeting here for tonight. Glad y'all are here. And I'll pass it over to Crystal.
Is that me?
That's you, Crystal.
Am I on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, I've never done this before, so sorry.
Well, you're doing a great job, so continue.
Sure. I'm Crystal Kennedy. I live over here off of Mojave and Juniper. Born and raised here in Morongo Valley. I've lived here 43 years. I'm trying to figure out what we're doing with the Zoom. Do we watch the people, what they're having for the meeting, or I came in late, I apologize. I'm very concerned. I don't know what we're doing though, besides introducing.
So basically for this meeting, I don't know if you have the agenda in front of you, but when we do these meetings, they go by an agenda and what the board is supposed to vote on or what they need to take action on. Right. And that's not just with the fire department, that's with everything within the Morongo Valley.
Right.
Right now, they're doing a employee evaluation on the director of operations.
Okay.
And that's kind of what's going on right now.
So we're
right now they have to do it in a closed session because it is they can't reprimand an employee or give an evaluation in front of the public.
Okay, and so we're just waiting for them, and that's why we're doing the introductions, because I've never done the Zoom meeting.
Exactly.
Yep.
We're starting something new.
Okay.
We're making it jazzier and more fun in here.
Because I didn't know if we were expressing our concerns, because I'm very concerned.
I feel like we can do that. Like, let's do introductions for whoever wants to, and then we can come back and kind of do the same format for like talking about the issue.
Okay, yeah, because
I would suggest, but I'm not in charge.
I'm born and raised here. My mom lives on my street. Still, my sister lives here. My brother lives here. It's very concerning what's happening, and we've personally had a fire with a volunteer fire department back in 1989, and we love the full-time fire department. So I'm a little stressed out.
Okay, the next step for you is to pass it to someone else. So pick someone else.
Okay, so do I just pick a name, you said, on the
Yep.
participant? Okay, so Sean Miller. I don't know. I said Sean Miller.
Sean, answer your phone.
It looks like he's off mute.
Pick another one.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and pick another one for now?
Okay, Jeff Harmatz. Harmatz. Well, I'm not good at this part.
Yeah, you're just striking out.
Okay.
On this one, why don't you pass it to Jake?
Okay, Jake.
And then Jeff says he's here now. So maybe after Jake, we can do Jeff.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name's Jacob Samuel, and I've been a resident of the Morongo Basin basically all my life. Dad was military, so we got stuck at the 29 Palms base. But I've been up here for a long, long time. And right now I currently reside in Joshua Tree. However, reason I'm attending this meeting is because I don't take any other way to get down to Palm Springs or to go see family than driving through Morongo. And the fire service for the Morongo is not just going to affect Morongo Valley. It's going to affect everyone in the Morongo Basin. So.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Jake. Why don't we popcorn it to Jeff since we skipped over him? Jeff, if you're able to introduce yourself. We're doing name, where you come from, how long you've been here, anything else you'd like to share about yourself, though none of that is necessary if you don't want. No worries, Jeff. I see. Why don't you do that? Why don't you do it in the chat? You can do that. And in the meantime, we can popcorn it to.
I can pick someone if you want.
Yeah, there you go, Jake. You do it.
All right. I'll pick iPhone.
Haha.
There's two. Yeah, there's a few of them. One of the iPhones.
I'm guessing that's me.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. My name's Brennan Gorder. I am one of the captain paramedics who recently left. I worked there for almost 4 years. And I'm here today because I strongly believe that it would be the absolute worst thing for the community to even shut that station down for a day. We've always had an extremely dedicated staff. Everybody knows we're not doing it for the money. And I'm here to help any way I can.
Don't forget to popcorn it to someone else.
Oh yeah, also Sean Miller is running a call with NBA right now, so he'll be back on soon. I will popcorn it to, let's do Chris Chavez.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, I'm Chris. Can you guys hear me, right?
Yeah, we just can't see you.
Yeah.
Oh, you really want to see me? All right, hold on.
Yes. Whoever's brave enough to go on camera, I would
Yeah.
suggest doing so.
Well, anyways, I'm currently one of the company officers over at the fire station. So obviously I'm here to make sure this place don't shut down because we're here to serve you guys, and it will be a bad deal. I've been in the fire service for 10 years. I have all my company officer certs, all that. We're just trying to do what's best for the department. And I can't really say anything more like I want to, just in case, but we hope we all can succeed in convincing the board that this is a terrible idea. Nothing against county fire, but it makes no sense whatsoever. So just do the best we can to convince them not to do this. It's wrong. And it's just because one man wants to shut down. Thank you.
You want to popcorn it to someone?
Let me see. Hold on. I'm on here, but I'll popcorn it to my paramedic, Johnny. He's right next to me.
Hello, guys. I'm firefighter paramedic Williams. I've been serving you guys for 4 years. Love it here, love working here. I know how important the community is. I have about 10 years experience. I'm also a part-time paramedic on the ambulance for AMR and HIMIT. And I see, you know, with my 10 years experience, I see what happens when when a city loses local control. And again, like my company officer said, county fire is great, but responding from Yucca, if that is indeed where they respond, because remember, San Bernardino County is the biggest county in the world. And if they do system management, so 41s or 42s or 36 is busy, then you're going to get the closest unit, which can be an hour away. Could be Lucerne. Could be Lucerne, Hesperia. So you guys won't have us within minutes. And I've been here, like I said, for almost 4 years, and we get critical calls here. I was just informed recently by someone who lives here almost their whole life, and they said that the 62 is considered one of the most dangerous highways in the state. So I've ran critical calls, and time is life and property. So if you have someone responding in 20 minutes, with 41 being the closest in Yucca, if they are available 20 minutes, I mean, you'll have rubble, someone can die. So that's just, it's not feasible. It's not doable. And you guys want to stay local control, and shutting down this department, it's not right. And to me, anybody who agrees with it doesn't have Morongo's best interest at heart, is because anybody who loves this community would want to stay local control, an ALS unit, a fire department with a paramedic.
Thank you. Do you want to popcorn it to someone else for an introduction?
Go to participants. And then figure out who has.
If I may, there's been a couple of folks with their hands raised. Citizen and
all right, tell them to start speaking.
Oh, Ryan.
Barrier.
Okay, yeah.
Ryan.
Sorry about that. Just doing the mute and start video. All right, so my name's Ryan Barrier. I'm a battalion chief for a municipal fire agency that is local. I grew up here local. I've worked for all levels of agencies in the fire service, ranging from volunteer all the way up to a municipal battalion chief, like I said. Guys, I think what it's key to listen in on is what the guys on the floor at the fire station are saying. Okay. The important thing here is your paramedic service, right? So if you look at your response times, that's our biggest thing. That means, when do people get to us? When we call 911, how long does it take for us to get help? Okay. So we call 911 for a fire or a medical aid right now, and we're going to get the highest level of service. We're going to get plenty of staffing. Obviously it's not the world's best. We're not getting 7 guys, right? But we're going to get 3 to 4 guys. And they're going to show up with paramedics. Okay. And they're going to show up within, let's say 5 to 7 minutes, pretty much anywhere in Morongo Valley within the CSD. It's a good response time. It's super important to recognize that the time is critical for the paramedic side of things. Okay. The paramedic side of things is what we use the most, right? We're going to use it the most frequently. And B, that's the life danger. Our house can burn down, and it's a terrible, terrible, tragic thing. It's horrible. It's very bad. And I'm not trying to minimize that, but it's still just a house. Okay. Having a paramedic saves a life, and life always comes so much higher than property does. Okay. Morongo Basin Ambulance, based off of their for-profit, they may actually be not-for-profit. So I don't want to speak out here and there.
Nonprofit.
Yeah. So they're nonprofit, but they don't staff locally. They don't have an ambulance base that's anywhere near here. So if you were to call 911 from, let's say, our fire station, okay, you're going to get a paramedic there immediately because, well, fire department has paramedics, but you're not going to get an ambulance for probably 12, 15 minutes. And that's if they're coming from their closest station. And that's only if they're available. We also got to remember that they only have a couple ambulances, and they transport all the way down to Desert Hospital in Palm Springs with a turnaround time of probably an hour and a half. So I'm not willing to risk my life and lacking paramedic services because of that. The problem that we have here is almost exclusively a mismanagement problem. Okay. The funds here that are going on, and the CSD, potentially even the board, and I'm relatively new. I've only been in the Morongo Basin for probably 3 years now. Like I said, I grew up locally in the Valley and then moved up here. I've always had horses up here and boarded up here. So I'm not super intimate. I guarantee you this is a mismanagement problem. We have to understand that the funds that our poor guys work off of, it's not the world's greatest. Okay. And we have to recognize the fact that when you start looking at executive levels within the fire service, skill level and paychecks, they kind of correspond to one another. So that's the problem. It's the job and the responsibility of the CSD board as a whole to manage that. They're the ones who manage that and hold that fire chief responsible and provide that ultimate leadership. And from the very limited information that I have so far, so please understand that is where I'm coming from. It would be clear to me that there's probably some problems there and some things that we as a community need to address there. So that's what I have from now. Anything other than that, I guess you should probably just hit me up direct. And so I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not in a position where I can be on the board or where I could be, an executive level within this fire department. I just don't have the time, to be quite frank and honest with you. But I do live here and I am concerned and I am willing to provide what knowledge and expertise certainly that I have.
Awesome, thank you. Concerned citizen?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm anonymous. I just don't want to say who I am right now. I've addressed something that most of the people here do not know. The new people coming in, there's something going on that you don't know, that you do need to know. And the firefighters aren't going to tell you, but they've been treated horrible like this chief by this chief. Can you imagine coming to work for 24 hours and having make racist, sexual comments to you, demean you, put you down, insult you? You guys know your taxpayer dollars are going to fund this person's position, and he treats his firefighters like crap. That's what you just heard Mr. Gortner come on. He left. The engineer let people leave this department because of poor management. The last two fire chiefs were not fully qualified or certified, and they used their badge and their position to bully people. That's why firefighters have sued this department multiple times, because they've been treated horrible. You as the public should know this has been going on. This is not new, but it's been kind of covered up. The lawsuits are expensive. Treating people like crap hurts morale. It hurts response times. It hurts. You want to be able to go to work and not be bullied and treated like crap, and have your supervisor just treat you like very low. You guys should know this. You guys should know this is going on. Now that the public's coming in here and learning all these things, this is one thing you have not been told yet, and it's going on. Firefighters will tell you. So I'll yield it to someone else. Thank you, but please, your firefighters really terrible.
Daryl, can you mute yourself? Daryl. Daryl. Thank you. The next person who had their hand up was Zoe D.
Hi, everybody. My name is Zoe. I actually live next door to the fire department. I think they're the most fantastic neighbors anybody ever could ask for. I have firefighters in my family. I understand how important it is to have firefighters locally, and I showed up today to support our guys. And I will choose.
Go to Len because he's got his hand up.
Len.
Len, you need to come off mute if you want to. And also, I believe that there's someone on a phone who would like to speak. So why don't we go to the 5853 number, and then we'll bounce back to Len once he gets off mute. Although I could be wrong about the person on the phone. Okay, let's go to Lynn. Lynn has her hand up.
Hi, guys. My name is Lynn Watts. I've been a resident here in Morongo Valley since 2007. I live near the corner, or actually on the corner of Morongo, or not Morongo, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm such an introvert. I can get behind my keyboard and type away, but man, putting my face out there is tough. Okay, so I live on Mojave and Juniper. I was just kind of scrolling through Facebook a few days ago and saw that there was a meeting going to take place to talk about a new tax for the fire department, and I was interested, so I just kind of looked in on it, and I couldn't believe what I heard, what I witnessed. I didn't take notes or anything, and I got up the next day and I couldn't believe nobody was talking about it. So I kind of might have stirred the pot a little bit, and I hope I got all my information right. I really tried to remember what was said and what went on during that meeting. Something that I've been trying to get to the bottom of is what we are paying the police chief, or not the police chief, sorry, nervous, what we're paying the fire chief. And I know that his position is both the general manager and the fire chief. And I understand that that's going to be a higher compensation. But when I looked up, I just found out what we're paying him, which, if I'm correct, if I looked up, somebody shared it in the chat and I looked it up, it looks like it's about $160,000. So I went to salary.com and said, hey, what do police chiefs make in California? And the average salary is $90,000. So that to me is astounding, especially when there's so much talk about our firefighters not being properly compensated. That's a concern of mine. In addition, obviously, to losing the fire department, that would just be devastating. So that's about it for me. You want me to try and pick a participant?
Yeah, that'd be great. I see Jake has his hand up, so.
Okay.
Although I like the popcorn model, maybe we go with the hand up model.
Okay. Meg also has her hand up. She hasn't spoke, I don't think. So I'll let you're kind of running the show. How do I turn it back over?
Meg is off mute.
Stop video.
Okay, thank you.
But you're good, Lynn. All right.
You did just fine, Lynn. Thank you. I want to correct something Jake said. My understanding for the purpose of the closed meeting was to evaluate new models going forward. And so years ago, we had a split model of GM and fire chief. And because the salary was low, which they're low straight across the board for all the floor staff too, they looked at combining them. And so it seemed like the consensus from the last meeting was lacking checks and balances. And since we're a government agency, they can only talk about personnel things during certain times in closed sessions. So that's why it was listed as evaluation, but I heard the chief is definitely gone. It's just a question of when. And I've lived here in Morongo for almost 40 years, been a homeowner for 35, and I worked as the CSD general manager for 5 or 6 years, about 15 years ago. And I want to thank the fire personnel that's on, and sorry that the issues didn't come to light earlier, but I hope you guys hear loud and clear that you have support from the community. I think everyone's in agreement that we want to do everything and anything we can to preserve local services. One thing that was a big attractive thing for people to come to Morongo Valley Fire was the training sessions. So fire, if they were academy grads, they could work on their firefighter 1 or firefighter 2 certs. That program's inactive now. And so that, we suggested looking at reviving that, looking at the interim split model. And we go through this every year. When CAL FIRE and BLM hires, there's a mass exodus for more money. And as the guys on the floor mentioned, they're not here for the money. So we appreciate your input and are going to look at, any way we can to keep the service here without going to county on even an interim basis. For all the reasons that Ryan mentioned, ALS services and the fire guys too. So what I was hearing is the chief's definitely gone. It's just a question of when. And part of why the salary may look so high, it is hard. I went through some of the financials too to see what the exact salary is. I came up with about 85, but I read the audit and it looks like he's been paid about $100,000 in settlements in the last couple years. So that's something that hopefully we won't have to continue to pay out as we look at solutions going forward. But yeah, I'm not confident in what the total salary is that he's paid on an annual basis. Anyway,
I would like to add in there that yes, he is receiving approximately $82,000, $86,000 for the general manager slot and the fire chief. However, he did have, and this was just, if anybody attended the November 30th meeting, you would have found out that he is also receiving a $46,000 compensation pay to be the on-duty officer or the duty officer. If you're a fire chief for any place, you know you're going to be woken up at any time at night to respond to any calls at any time. So accepting a $46,000 or requiring or requesting a $46,000 of compensation paid so you can wake up, maybe once a month in the middle of the night to respond to a TC or a fire? And it's at the officer's discretion on who he wants to, if he wants to respond to that call or not too.
Well, that
So
was
if you
listed
add it
in
all
the
up,
audit
it's
as a
about,
settlement. So
it's about $126,000 that he's receiving. And that was confirmed by the board member, Director Tolbert, at the November 30th meeting.
I would love to, people have their hands up and are waiting. So thank you so much, Jake. Let's turn it over to Gorder, who I believe is also called iPhone. And for those of you who have had your hands up and have spoken, can you lower your hands so we can know who's next?
Yeah, hi, it's me again. I just wanted to take a few seconds to go right after Meg, just to point out a few things that I think, especially, well, let's face it. For 4 years, we've been trying to bring different things to the board, to the community through the board. That clearly hasn't happened because the board is just now finding out about a lot of this. The biggest things that I want to hash out is the fact that in the fire service, what Meg was referring to would be, we would call that a stepping stone or training department, which, okay, we all need to get our training somewhere. But myself, as well as every one of those employees, firmly believe that that is not what the community deserves. If the community is paying for a professional fire service, that's what they deserve. They deserve professional, certified, and experienced paramedics, certified, experienced company officers. And that, if you want to get the training, that's what we have the reserve program for. But if there's no incentive for these employees to stay, it is going to be a revolving door. It is going to be a stepping stone department. And that's the biggest problem we're facing, is there is no incentive to stay. And ultimately, the only ones who really suffer are the community members. And then on top of that, yeah, we have been looking at a tax initiative even when I was still there. And that is obviously the last thing that we want to do. There are also other options that we have looked at, but they have been shot down to the point of suspension.
Thank you so much. I see that 2 other people have their hands up, but I believe they've already spoken. So I'm going to assume Lynn and Crystal are not trying to reintroduce themselves. Forgive me if I'm wrong.
I did want to speak because I introduced myself. Now everybody's saying other things, and again, I'm Crystal Kennedy. I live here on Mojave and Juniper. The gentlemen that are at the fire station right now that came on, beautiful people, love them. We had our neighbor the other day, a car hit her in the street. And we had called 911 and that was that crew that came. And if we didn't have them, because it took the ambulance 30 minutes to get here, but they were here within 10 or 5 or whatever it was. And then they started administering. So we know, I feel like this group is aware, everybody, we need the fire department. But a lot of people are saying about the board. We all know that the last election, not one person, or not the last election, because Tina is now on the board, which is great. But the one before that, Gail Schwartz has been on that board, I swear, my entire life that I have lived here for 43 years. If we want change, and I would like to be a part of that change too, is we have to go and participate. And I know that one gentleman said, you know, he just doesn't have the time, and I get that. A lot of us don't know how to do this or want to do this or feel that they can do this. But this lady, Gail, and I don't know if I'm even allowed to say this, but I mean, she has been on the board my entire life that I have lived here. And if nobody else wants the job, she keeps getting the job. And there's always contention with her. I've been to the board meetings. They have talked about this. I cannot cuss on here probably, but they have talked about this Yearsley guy. And I'm so frustrated. There are so many frustrations with him that everybody has. And we built a house 2 years ago and have had to, we had to go jump through hoops because of him. And I personally confront him a lot of the times because he would not do things. And I know one person mentioned anonymously about the discrimination, and I'm a citizen and he was doing that to me. Now that's a whole other issue. You know, I stood my ground with him, but I had to stand my ground because I was a woman. He wanted nothing to do with me. And I will tell you, I'm the one that had to do all the paperwork. So you are going to deal with me, not my husband. I'm the person that you talk to, and he is not. Again, I will be respectful, but I want these boards that have been here for 100 freaking years. Like, we need to get them out. So I don't know. If somebody wants to back me up on that, maybe I'm speaking out of turn. Whatever we can do. They're the problem. Not Tina and John, I know, or Tolbert. I mean, they try. It is so hard when you have that just nope, not happening. Nope. It's the way I want it. Been that way for 40 fucking years. So, all right, peace. I'm just unmuting.
Thanks so much. And I think that you're, a lot of people are feeling the same way you are. I just want to, Sue, I see you have your hand up. I just want to sort of frame what everyone here has said. It sounds like everyone here is very supportive of the fire department. It sounds like the community does not want it to close. It sounds like the community will apply pressure as necessary so that it does not close. The other things I've heard raised here are that we need a little more turnover on the board, and that will require people stepping up and running for it, which might be something we want to discuss at a separate meeting. So I'm going to now call on Sue.
Hey everybody, thank you for letting me speak. I wasn't going to. I usually have my picture on here, but I did a really hard ride yesterday and I'm a hot mess right now. So you don't want to see what I look like. Anyway, yeah, I have horses. I've lived in Morongo Valley for about 12 years now, but I grew up in the lower desert. Went to Indio High School. So I've been around here a very long time, and all I can say is I have a big smile on my face to see all these people here tonight. Because when I first moved to Morongo, the first thing I did was start going to CSD meetings. There were maybe 3 of us. That was it. Every month, just 3. I was like, what is going on? Where is everybody? Doesn't anyone care? Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and I volunteered for everything, and I was blocked, always blocked. I actually had the county involved in trying to get the kitchen redone. I was blocked from that. I volunteered for the MAC board. I actually did run along with Christina, and I'm really glad that she got the seat, because in my opinion, I think we need the younger, newer generation in the community to step up. And when she did, I was so thrilled. So what I would like to say is, yes, those 3 seats need to be, we need new blood. And not me, because I'm old generation, but I would love to support any of the newer generation that wants to come step up and be a part of this board. Let me know how I can help you. I would be happy to do it. Whether it be from, mentoring, fiscally, tell me what I can do, because this community is special. And seeing 3 pages of people on here now willing to spend a Friday evening for their community just makes my heart full. And I'm here to support you all. So please tell me, I'll be here for any of you at any time.
Thank you so much for that. That's an incredibly generous offer. And I think that finding some way for everyone here to talk about how best to run, or talk to people who might want to run, would be great. I do not see anyone with their hand up next. I'm happy to call on people to introduce themselves, but I just want to give the opportunity, since people are having very strong feelings. If they want to talk, you raise your hand. And otherwise, you're going to get picked on by me. And my next victim is going to be Shauna.
Well, thanks for calling on me, Vanessa, without my hand up. Appreciate you. I've been up here for 15 years, and I know Christina Brooks and Lori Klimowitz and Johnny, and I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of these folks, and just interact with them in our community, and it is a great place to live. And Meg Foley, when you were at the CSD, I appreciated all your knowledge and information. But yeah, I think we just need to stick together. I think we need to, as a community, make sure our needs are met.
A lot of people, huh?
And part of that is having a paramedic to save the lives here in Morongo Valley. I have a friend here, Jim, whose close friend was, saved by the paramedic that was down there at the fire station. If he wasn't there, he wouldn't be here with us. So 26. It's important to have a competent, fiscally responsible fire department.
Like a chat room.
So, but I appreciate you calling on me, Vanessa. And that's all I have to say.
And hope to see you down at Coyote Cone soon.
Okay, thank you.
Best ice cream in town for sure. Does anyone else want to speak next? Or I will call on someone else. And whoever's on 5853, could you mute unless you would like to speak?
Don't know how to use it.
Okay, so I'm gonna just randomly call on someone who hasn't gone yet. Can we hear from Jason Morey?
Can I go again, please?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Your hand up. Please, you have the floor. Concerned citizen.
Good citizen again. I got a note here that some people don't know is 3 of the female board members, they side with the fire chief constantly. They cover for him. That's how he dodged the investigation. He said, I'm gonna retire. They said, okay, no investigation. Last meeting on Zoom, they were going to talk about terminating him. One of the female members got up and left out for a family emergency just at that time. That's the issue, is these three people are covering for this guy, and we're concerned that he's not going to retire. And I want to add one thing about this fire chief. He doesn't meet the qualifications. Why the public's here, you have to go to school to be a firefighter and get these professional qualifications and certifications. This chief doesn't have them. He's not a certified EMT, emergency medical technician, which is lower than paramedic. So he doesn't have the qualifications to supervise these paramedics or EMTs. That's, like I said, the last thing, it's like being running the hospital and you let the janitors running the doctors. It doesn't work that way. The high turnover rate in this fire department actually hurts you guys. You have quality people going out. If you can look at a model, look at Costco versus Walmart. Costco pays their quality employees to stay, and they stay for careers as a destination career. Walmart pays people low wages and they leave. You got to ask yourself, do you want to get what you pay for? Do you want quality people coming there and staying there, or do you want people to constantly turning over? I know it sounds like a moneymaker, but when you have a constant turnover in your fire department, your productivity goes down 25 to 30%. Now you're playing catch up. You're hiring people. You have to outfit these people, put them in gear, uniforms, do physical health checks. The idea of a stepping stone fire department and coming and going because it's cheaper, you're actually lying to yourself, and you're losing quality people. That Captain Gordner was on earlier, he has a bachelor's degree and an AS degree. He's a paramedic and he's a teacher instructor. He left. The engineer he was with, he left. He was a paramedic. Constantly losing people and having more people coming in. Ask yourself if you want that at your hospital. If you have to go to a hospital for a life-saving emergency and the doctors there are constantly coming and going for better salary, do you really think you're going to get the best care? Do you really, if the equipment is down, not right, you got to ask yourself, life safety services, do you really want fast food, low budget? Because that's what Morongo Valley is right now. You have a chief who's not qualified, and the firefighters have more certifications than he has. He is not a certified chief officer or company officer. He treats his people poor. Morale is low, high turnover, low salaries, no benefits. And if the mindset now is, let's shut down the fire department and rebuild it. Well, you can hire people now, rebuild it now, because he wants to bust the union. And I'll tell you what, you want to be a destination fire department, hire quality people and have them stay. If you're not sure how the fire department works, think of it like a hospital. You want them to mirror each other. Best equipment, best facilities, best personnel, and longevity.
Thank you.
All right. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay. And I've been in the fire service for about 30 years. I'm very passionate about this. It's just not, I'm just not some guy off the street.
Gotcha.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, concerned citizen. I think everyone here really appreciates what you're adding and has please feel supported in what you're saying.
Oh, thank you. Can I add one more thing?
Yes, please. And then I have a question.
Sure. If you want to look at the history, the last two fire chiefs in Morongo Valley were volunteer fire chiefs. People think that's a building bridge. That's not. Think of that as you have a little league coach, a little league baseball coach who knows the game. And because you're a little league baseball coach, a volunteer for 5 years, you can transfer over to the major big leagues all of a sudden. It doesn't work. We know that doesn't work that way. It's the same in the fire department. You cannot be a volunteer chief for 3, 4, 5, 7 years and all of a sudden transfer over to a paid fire department like this current chief has. He's never been through a fire academy. He doesn't have the proper certifications. Just because you filled a volunteer spot on one side of the county doesn't qualify you just to cross the bridge over. The Little League example is the best one I can give you. You're a Little League coach for 5 years. What, can you go to Major League Baseball now? No, you're not. So the last two fire chiefs did this, and the department collapsed internally 3 times in the last 5 years. And who really suffers? The taxpayers and the good citizens in Morongo Valley. And what's your question?
Thanks so much. I also see that iPhone, I can't remember, Gorder, I think you have your hand up, so I just want to acknowledge that. My question is, it seems like everyone here agrees, one, we want to keep the station. 2, we want qualified people running. And 3, we want the people here who are the firefighters and the paramedics who are doing the hard work to be well compensated. My question is, what stands between those goals that we have all stated and making it happen?
The operations manager.
Okay, can you hear me still?
Yep.
Okay. Can I answer your question with a personal experience of mine? I've been a homeowner for 18 years in California.
Vanessa ready?
And I pay taxes, and I don't mind paying a little bit of tax.
We're not going to be on mute, so.
Hello? Yeah. Ma'am? Vanessa?
Yeah, it's just that we have some folks off mute. So
Okay.
that's what's getting.
Try to answer your question. I think you got to ask yourself, you get what you pay for, whether it's any item in life. Eventually, I can't put a price on life. If I was a taxpayer and a homeowner in Morongo Valley, I would have no problem paying for medical coverage, because I use this example. If you think you're beating the system by not paying taxes and you're having your fire department is low operated, your homeowner insurance rates go up. Your house will get rated at a rating and your insurance rates go up. So ask yourself this question at 2:30 in the morning, when you're having trouble breathing or a heart attack or a medical emergency, which would you rather have in one hand? Lower insurance rates or people at your door in a matter of minutes? I can't put a price on life. I'd rather pay progressively the right amount of taxes and have quality fire protection, because once your house burns down, you're not getting it back. 2:30 in the morning, you're at asthma attack, you can't breathe. Those seconds seem like hours as you're waiting. And I can back that up because I told Johnny yesterday, one of the firefighters, I did CPR on my neighbor yesterday, and it took what seemed like a long time for the fire truck to get there. And that was a local fire truck. And Johnny, the paramedic there, knows I'm not lying, but I did CPR on my neighbor yesterday, and it was just the 3 of us with 2 medics. The engine company took an extra time to get there because we're out in the remote area. And I can tell you people, that extra time, that waiting, you would pull out your credit card if you could make an engine show up. You can't put a price on life safety and emergency services at a timely manner. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks so much. Brian Duke wrote in the comments that we may now want to turn to comments about the solutions to this problem. Oh, okay, sure. Sorry, Sharon's saying that I should explain how people can mute themselves.
Thank you very much.
If you're on concerned citizen, if you're on the computer staring at your screen and you see probably see a bunch of boxes of some sorts. If you go all the way down on the left-hand side, you'll see a little microphone. And if it's green and moving, like a little sound up and down, then you are live. And then you can just hit that there. Oops, you can hit that button right there and you can mute yourself. Okay, so that is, and feel free if anyone else has tech questions to write them in the chat. So basically framing the conversation now around solutions. But before, we do so, iPhone has had his hand up for a long time, so I want to bump it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, sorry. It's a different iPhone.
Part of the biggest problem, and I attend these meetings often, Zoom and in person, it seems lately there seems to be a big disconnect from our staffing and the operations manager, whether they don't approve of him, they don't like what he's doing, how he's processing the information, what the issue is. It's become where, to me, they should be doing an internal investigation to see if this man really should be in the position he's in. I feel for the staff. I hear them voicing their opinions at every meeting, and the president and the vice president shut him up. They don't let him finish talking. They won't let the staff tell you what the problem is. And it seems to me that if they're here on a daily basis, staffing our department, they should have a major insight as to what's going on and what needs to happen. Pretty much that's all I have to say. I want our fire department to be here. I've been here for too many years to see it go anywhere else. It concerns me that they're 10 minutes away now and it could be 40 minutes away later. That's scary, very scary to me. So please, everybody who's coming to these meetings, keep coming, keep giving them your voice, tell them, because I don't feel that everybody on the board cares anymore. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think that you're not alone in feeling the way you are. It sounds like everyone here has really echoed that sentiment. And it also sounds like, given how many people are on this, there were 62 before, now they're 54. That's actually great in terms of retention as these Zoom meetings go. It sounds like nobody here is going to allow that to happen. So I feel pretty good at this point saying, if we can organize together, we can get what we want, we can make things right. And I think I think that it's not my place, but I want to thank everyone for their participation in the community and so many people speaking up here tonight. I am, by the way, just like a random person, so there's no reason why I'm calling on people other than I facilitate these meetings a lot for my work. Okay, Shauna.
Can I talk when you get a second?
Shauna, do you want to?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so Brian Duke brought up the fact that we need to start coming up with some solutions for these problems, and I absolutely agree. Just complaining about it isn't going to change anything. So I would guess that first of all, we need to find out what our needs are in the community so that we can organize, and if we need to do fundraisers, if we need to get grants written, if we need to reach out to certain organizations for help in order to keep our fire station and our paramedic on staff. I think that's one of the first things we need to find out is what our needs are.
Hello.
Thanks, Shauna. I wholeheartedly agree, and I'm passing the torch to U693CL, which is how we're appearing here, and we've been trying to talk for a while.
Thank you. I also agree with the solutions. The first solution, in my opinion, and my name is Janet Osborne. The first solution, in my opinion, is we've got to get the fire department staffed, as in a interim GM, an interim fire chief. We've had the deputy fire chief already agreed that he'd be willing to do the interim position. We already have another staff member that works for the CSD who's been running the office for years now, agreeing to interim the GM position. I think the first order of business is to send the chief packing literally out the door so that there's no more interference. And then at that point, the chief and the GM can start, interviewing, getting through the testing information, the credentials of the firefighters and the paramedics. And, I bet the minute the chief walks out the door, we will have plenty of applicants. Interim positions are the only way really to do it right, because this is an immediate need. We either get those positions filled or they're going to shut it down. Now, Gail, Christina, and Klimowitz, they're going to listen or they're not going to listen. They're going to vote the way they vote. And they are the majority at this time. And they have been voting, in my opinion, poorly for quite a long time. And it is about people stepping up. All you got to do is be a registered voter and 18 years old. Those are the qualifications, and you have to live in the community. Those are the qualifications to be able to run for office. But that being said, this is not an easy job being behind that dais. It is not an easy job. My husband did it for 20 years, and I mean, it's not an easy job, but it is a job that you can do. Anyone can rise to that position. Someone, anyone, please run for office. I mean, I would run, or I'm sure my husband would run if we were a little bit younger, but we are, you know, a little long in the tooth for this. So all the other, you know, things with monies and fundraisers and that, yes, it always helps. And yeah, we're probably going to need to do that kind of stuff, but that is after we have the fire department running. You know, if the fire department continues running, then we'll be able to do that stuff. And that's only with interim positions filled. If they don't allow those positions to be filled and the majority votes to close the fire department, they're the majority. This is so important to vote. It's so important to vote qualified. Get to know these people before you vote them into office. You know, I mean, it's a difficult thing. You know, you get busy with your own life, but this is an important thing to our little community, is to vote, to stand up, to show up, to be heard. We all tend to get busy with our lives and only show up when there's a crisis. And generally, we're notified that a crisis is coming. This time, they sideswiped us. They sideswiped us. And they kept the critical information and everything that was happening coming down the pike. They kept it from us. And I'm not quite sure what to do about that, but if anything can be done by that. I mean, we voted them into office, you know? So anyways, for what it's worth. And Shauna, yes, you have the best ice cream in town.
Thanks so much. I see that someone has their hand raised. Before I have you speak, I want to say that one of the things we're hearing tonight is that we need new people to step up for the board. I'd like to recognize that there have been 3 people nominated so far. And so what I want to ask is from those 3 people is, would you consider running? And those people are Brian Duke, Shauna Johnson, and Jim Ragland.
Good picks. Oh, sorry.
Yes, the dogs approve. I've got a lot of them here. And so I think Brian, Shauna, I see you're unmuted, so you've got the floor. And then I do want to get to iPad. I don't know your name, but your name is on here as iPad. And of course, we want to give you time to speak.
I don't know. I haven't even considered it. I don't know what time requirements it would take or what needs to be done, but I have, and I always will do whatever I need to for the community. So if that's something that I need to do, then I'd be happy to. I know Brian Duke, he's a great guy with a lot of great ideas. Jim Ragland has been around forever and one of the smartest people I know. So especially if those 2 are on board, I'd definitely give it a go.
Awesome. Shauna, providing solutions. Just one meeting, you guys. I think we might be solving a lot of problems. So Shauna, Brian Duke, and Jim, consider yourselves nominated, and I would hope that everyone here will support them, and let's talk about how to uplift them and get them out there. I do want to go to iPad right now. Sorry, I don't know your name, but you've got your hand raised. So,
Okay, yeah. Can you hear me?
yeah.
Okay, good. This is Sharon, and I went to the meeting on Sunday with a group. Is about the 2 board members were there, and there were about 7 people there. And it was really a good meeting, and I would encourage people to attend. There's another one coming up on Sunday at 1 p.m. at the Park Community Room. So I would really encourage people to go. It's kind of like a problem-solving session, and I think, I don't know, a lot can be accomplished there. Also, I keep pounding this idea of the financials, but how can we really engage in meaningful discussions and solutions when we have no idea what the finances are? We have no idea how this money is managed or allocated. And sure, they can give us a budget, but I want to see what is actually going on. And in all the years that I have been here, all I've ever heard for everything is we don't have the money. We don't have the money. We don't have the money. And they're also not really, like some of the firefighters said, and I know also, they don't cultivate a lot of the grant opportunities that they could benefit from. So, you know, that's a piece that I think needs to be pulled in, or we're kind of operating in the dark. So that's all I have to say.
What about the $377,000 engine they just bought that hasn't even arrived yet?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, I don't understand how we can. I mean, they spent $10,000 in legal fees because they didn't get along on the board. Where did that money come from? I mean, that could have done a lot of stuff. So before they start asking us to raise our taxes, I think the finances need to be better understood. I think it's important. How can we have a meaningful discussion without knowing that? The details, not just some stupid, you know, budget. That's what I think. So thanks.
Thanks so much. I don't know how to accomplish that in terms of getting those numbers. But maybe someone here does, and potentially they could write some information in the chat if they don't want to speak. The next person who has their hand raised is Chris Chavez.
All right, so I just wanted to clear up everybody's misconception with that $377,000 brush engine. None of the taxpayers' money were used. That was money that we accumulated from going out on strike teams from the last couple of years, mutual aid with the state, when half the state was burning these last 2 years. So it's not coming out of the budget. It's coming out of strike team money is how we paid for it. So I know the confusion is, that's probably what you thought, but I just wanted to clear that up. So if anyone has any questions about that, just let me know.
Thanks so much, Chris. Super important to know.
Hey, this is Good Citizen. Can I chime in on that brush engine?
Go for it.
I would like to educate you guys on something. A Type 3 brush engine can also be used as a structural engine. So whether it's a new engine or used engine, I haven't seen this engine yet, but it's pretty nice. Think of it, I like used engines myself, but think of it as probably a 20 to 30 year investment. It's here, it's coming and it's done, but it will still be a paramedic, and it can go places in Morongo Valley that the current fire truck can't go. So it has capabilities. And the nice part is I think it has 4-wheel drive, but a Type 3 brush engine can respond to structure fires. Now think of it this way: if one of the engines goes down, they can grab their gear and jump onto the next engine. It's very flexible. So if the new engine's coming, before you kind of shoot down the new engine or say, I don't like it, it's a budget issue. Like Chris just said, you got a good deal on it, and think of it as literally a 20 to 30 year investment that will last that far, and it's still a paramedic unit, and it can still fight structure fires. So it's nice to have a backup engine that you can rely on and use.
That sounds amazing. I think everyone here is super excited that we have that. Chris, you want to speak to that?
Did you? Oh, I can't hear. Did she call on me?
Someone's in the background.
Oh, did you call on Chris? Anyways, since I'm on here, just to say something too. That brush engine's also going to make the department money when it gets sent out on mutual aids. And we know every summer California burns. So that's also, just think of it as it's a money maker as well. Because our type 1's 99% of the time going to stay in district anyways. It's not going to get called out. So I just wanted to say that just to let you guys know.
Sounds like a win-win for us.
Yeah. And if,
Also, I'd also like to add on that brush engine for the money they receive for that. Those funds they make on the strike team cannot be used for employee pay. Those have to be used for equipment and other, well, pretty much just equipment. And I believe they can do like a pay. I can't think of the words right now, but I believe they can.
Bonus.
Go ahead. Bonus. Thank you. Like a gift almost kind of thing. However, the SAFER grant, there is a SAFER grant that your fire department can go for. I brought this up at the last 2 meetings, and I have asked Chief Yearsley if they have applied for it. I was told told during that meeting that we did, but we just stopped. But the real story behind that was the fire captain that was going for that grant was suspended and told to stop because of whatever reason. That SAFER grant actually provides money for you to get more qualified personnel onto your department. And that includes an increase of staffing. So I believe for Morongo Valley at that certain time was trying to get an engineer, a captain, a firefighter paramedic, and for a fourth firefighter with being a reserve. That grant is good for 3 years. And then after that, you just reapply and you get it again. So many departments use it. If I'm not mistaken, I think Big Bear uses it. I know Running Springs uses it. I know Arrow Bear uses it. There are so many departments out there that use the SAFER grant to keep their engines staffed the way they should be. Because even now, running a 3-man engine, either with a firefighter engineer and another firefighter, or a firefighter captain and another firefighter, you want 2 people. Your captain or your engineer should solely be focusing on either incident command or pumping that fire engine. And if you only have 1 engineer and he's the company officer for that day, he can still do his job efficiently, but it's just a lot more to take on. I know that's what I do. I am a fire captain right now. And there are times where I have to drive my engine and I have to pump and I have to BIC, and it is a pain in the butt. But the SAFER grant can provide another engineer to solely focus on pumping, and then that captain can focus on whatever else he needs to do, whether that's directing his crew, suppression efforts, medical efforts, if there's injuries on scene, whatever the case. There are grants, and that has been presented before, but it has been shot down. And it's because of crappy management. You need a chief to reallocate budgets. You need a chief to look at the budget. You need a chief to go, this is what we want, but this is what the department needs. Okay. Yep. If you don't have someone to understand, okay, hey guys, you don't need Bluetooth headsets. You can go with cord, because Bluetooth ones are about $500 a pair. Okay. You need a chief to be able to reallocate the money of where it's currently going. And that's it. There's the problem solver. It starts at the top. You can't say, oh, well, it's not the fire. It's not just the fire chief. No, I'm sorry. Change starts from the top and works its way down. It doesn't start from the bottom and work its way up. That's not how it goes in this situation. To solve a problem, you have to recognize the problem. And the problem is the chief. It starts from the top and works its way down. That is, you have never seen a fire captain, an engineer, a firefighter put on the news for the failure of a fire department, have you? And if you have, anybody in this chat that has experience seeing firefighter took down a whole fire department in one day, please speak up now. No?
I agree.
Okay, good. So it is the fire chief that oversees the running of the department. It is the fire chief's responsibility. You will not see a yellow helmet with red stripes, a red helmet or orange helmet, whoever, if we have some LA County people in here, or even a battalion chief. It is the fire chief, the 5 bugle in charge of the fire department, who is responsible for the operations, whether he's running general manager or not. Simple as that. Change starts there. You can't change from the bottom. You can only change it from the top and work its way down.
Can I add one more thing? Everything that guy said is nailed it. One thing about the brush engine, consider during Santa Ana winds, intense fire season year round, but if you have it during the spring or the fall, if you have that new brush engine come, you could staff both. If you want to pay the overtime, you could staff both units it's very flexible. I don't want anyone to get scared about this new brush engine. And there's other possibilities. There's a patrol unit in the department that can be fixed, tuned up. There's a lot of things. The new brush truck coming, if it was bought with funds from going on fires, that's like a free truck. One more thing from Good Citizen here is I like all you people here, all you people participating. Bravo to you. It's almost like a tea party. All you people came out, and I have a long history with this department, and I'm trying to be part of it. But bravo to all you people who came out and participating. Seriously, you people, you taxpayers, you deserve it. You deserve to know what's going on. You deserve to know what's happening. You deserve to have a say in your department, in your community service district. And I'm just one guy, and my hat's off to you people. I mean, really, you guys are awesome. Please support your firefighters because they're not getting the support from the fire chief right now. All you people, Vanessa running this meeting, you don't know how valuable all you guys are an asset right now. You don't know how awesome it is that you're here. Thank you.
Thanks so much. I
agree.
Housekeeping thing. Thank you again, everyone. I want, yes, change is coming. That's what Alex's iPhone is saying in the chat. I have one thing, housekeeping thing, and then I want to turn it over to Brian, who had some comments. The housekeeping thing is everyone here on the same Facebook group or otherwise so that we can continue to communicate with one another? And if you're not, can people please put the link or the links to the groups most people are using in the chat so that everyone here can be connected? And now I will turn it over to Brian.
Hi, everyone. Just something I just would like to point out. Yes, we know that there are some more morale issues going on at the fire department, but we also have to understand that there's a second side of this, and that has to do with the board. And I know we've kind of grazed that topic a few times tonight, but you know, I've sat on a few boards for nonprofit organizations in the last few years. And, you know, what I see here is on the website, there's no copy of their bylaws posted for anyone to know how they need to vote or the such. There's no financial information on there. The only thing it does is it sends you to the state controller's page. And if you cruise on that, it just says what it's paid out. There's no line items about salaries or any sort of other expenses. So there needs to be, you know, some more detail there, because all that, you know, if you're running a nonprofit, has to be public knowledge. So yes, the transparency is not quite there. And I don't know if maybe because they have some members of the board that have been on there for quite a long time and, you know, just don't know how to or what to do with that. The other thing I heard moments ago was that when it comes to voting, there's one board member that was that had a family emergency 2 nights ago and was off. And then it sounds like that happened before as well. And it's one of those 3 that are always, you know, that are up for re-election, let's just say that. So 2 nights ago when I was involved, you know, they tried to stop the vote. And, you know, I quickly typed in the chat, well, you have a quorum because you have 4 people. And, you know, they deferred to their lawyer, like, is that true? And he said, yes. So I don't even think that they have the Robert's Rules of Order on how to run a board appropriately. And the other thing I would really want to question is, there have been boards that I've sat on where the president doesn't vote and is considered the tiebreaker vote. So if that's the case, I would like to see what their bylaws state about that. The other thing we might want to consider is only 5 on the board. We might want to bump it to 7 if we can, if we have a lot of interest in people running for the board next year. See about how that happens, because, you know, you do have situations where family events come up, or, you know, someone's pet is sick or someone's child is sick and, you know, you can't be there, have alternates. And so that's something that I would like to find out more on. I will be tomorrow from 2 to 4, posting myself down at the fire station on Highway 62 with the Save Our Fire Department, because there are people in Morongo Valley who have no idea what's going on. And maybe by them driving by and seeing something, they'll be able to stop and ask questions. So if anybody wants to join me, I'll be doing a Walmart run in the morning, grabbing a whole bunch of poster boards and markers. Come on down, meet me, say hi, and I'll be there from 2 to 4. That's all I got.
Thanks, Brian. And wow, that's like an amazing act of putting your what do they say? Your money where there's an expression that I can't remember. It's been a long day. I have 3 people up next: Sharon, Kim, and then Meg.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you see me?
Yes.
I can't really see myself. Hello.
And for everyone here, I just want to remind you all that this apparently this is being recorded, both the chat and the video. So, you know, do with that what you will.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Sharon. My family has been here in Morongo. My grandmother came here, I think in the 1950s. We're really old time people. My mother, who's 89, lives here, and I am here caretaking with her for right now. It wasn't my plan. I came to see her from overseas, and I've been here a long time now. So I know Morongo. I've been coming and going from here pretty much my whole life. And I know very tiny, small communities. I've been involved I made my home in Alaska for a long time. I've worked for the government in another small community in California. So I'm sharing that to say I come to this with a lot of background in community process. I wasn't going to talk right now. I've been working outside all day. I was just coming on here to make public comment because I also learned only just like quickly a day ago that this whole issue was going on. It is extremely concerning to me. It is vital that the emergency services not be removed from this community. It is life-threatening, can be, and I feel very strongly that there is, I don't know how to put words to this, there's a dynamic that I can see and feel that's going on in the people running things that I feel like there's been a loss of realizing the vital importance for what this service is to the community. It literally is life-threatening to remove this service. If emergency services for medical support need to come from 20 or 30 minutes away, that could be someone's life. So what I perceive as some pretty complicated, kind of muddy personnel issues, what I see is that this has grown into something where some people are there's an imbalance of power. There's an imbalance in the power structure. And that is why I'm now talking right now. Before public comment, I want to say some things that I want to speak to the board, but I felt I want to, first of all, I'm so grateful and impressed at all of these people, at all of you for having so much passion and involvement. It's often not the case in small towns. So I say that, and I decided I wanted to come on and say something right now before the board is back out of private closed session. Because I want to say this, as a person who deals with communications and empowerment, I want to say this. What I see is that we've got a situation where, you know, first of all, it's very clear that there's some real significant personnel issues and management issues, and that's kind of really what we're dealing with. That's really what's going on. And there's a dynamic whereby there's a body, a governing body that has been unwatched, I would say. Now, as soon as I say that, I can feel that there are people going, no, I've been watching, and I believe that's true. But when there is a more of a mass of people watching, there's an accountability level that people can't, it's like, it's really subtle the way people can abuse power. And when governing bodies in very small communities are not under really strong watch by lots of community members for lots of time, it's really easy for those people to sort of form their cliques and form their way of doing things where they're just barely going by the rules, but they're, you know, sort of, I'm trying to be really gentle. And I think y'all know what I'm saying. And so essentially what I am here to say is, at this moment, is to say, I really encourage us as community members to take a step back and realize who is in the power position. And that is the community. That is the people that pay for all of this. That is the homeowners, the residents. It is the people who vote these people into their position, who are in the position of power. And so while what we witness, what we are seeing is that there's been a whole sort of run down a road where people are in a position of power and they have not been in check. And so they've, you know, and oddly, you know, in their defense, they're trying to do the best they can. Okay. And so it's sort of like high school. It's sort of like a group of kids having a group of teenagers, and they're like, well, you know, we're doing this and that. And all of a sudden now there's like an elder in the room, and now there's a body of elders, and there are people who are really grounded and empowered and are the boss. So the public, the people are the boss. And that's what I encourage us to embody and speak from that place when we make public comment, when we call into action to say, hey, it's not okay to have a whole bunch of management issues that have gone so far unchecked, so far out of hand, that there's integrity issues, so kind of severe integrity issues between the board, who is supposed to be overseeing the chief and the staff, and the lack of accountability because there are perhaps personal relations that are influencing. So when things have gone unchecked for a period, we as humans, we do that. We, you know, the temptation is there to not have integrity, and not to go overboard in thinking in power, in the place of power. And what I'm here to say is I encourage us to gracefully, gently, and very powerfully make very clear that it is unacceptable to suddenly just throw up a vote and decide to close down the fire station. That's not okay. Amen. So thank you all. I just said a lot more than I expected. And I encourage us, and I say us because I'm saying it to myself as well, because I'm right there. I can get really heated and fired up and saying like, hell no. But I think I recognize that that it's what happens in small places where there's not a lot of people. There's not competition to get on that board. And so people get comfortable. And it's our job to maybe have some compassion, but also have a firm fist to say, hey, we are this community, and you are risking lives if you are saying that your management issues are so out of control that you're going to shut the place down. That's not okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sharon. I saw in the comments so many people appreciating what you had to say.
Oh, thank you.
And
I took my glasses off, so I'm gonna look when I go off.
I feel like it.
Thank you all so much. And thank you, Vanessa.
Sure. I want to sum up some of what we've been talking about. First of all, I have other people on stack, as we call it in the business, which means who's up next. And that's Kim, Meg, and then I saw Crystal raise her hand. Anyone else can raise their hand and we'll put you in the queue. Also, I have like a million dogs running around in the background, so pardon me. I want to say, in summary, there are a couple of things you've said today. One is that there are a lot of active people here who are going to make sure we get what we want and what the community needs. And the other thing is, I want to remind everyone that that 3 people have been nominated to run for the board. They are Shauna, Brian, and Jim. And next up is Kim.
Is that me? Am I the only Kim? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you and see you.
Oh, all right, great. So I just wanted to, I feel like I'm just going to be repeating what everyone else said, but my name is Kim Miller. There was a meeting, a letter read at the last meeting that was written by a firefighter that has worked at Morongo Fire. That's my husband. We are both born and bred Morongo. We were gone for a couple of years and we just came back last year. We got 4 little kids. We are very familiar with the idea of needing access to paramedics quickly in emergency situations, which I think everybody agrees on. And I'm really excited to see the involvement from the community. And at this point, since I've been here for a long time, I've seen these like waves of involvement where like something comes up and then everybody's involved and then that issue is resolved and then the interest backs off. So maybe now we just need to figure out how to kind of retain some interest when there's not like a hot topic going on. But I'm just really excited to see everyone involved, and there's some really, really good points made tonight. And it was nice to kind of get to know some people. It's been tough with COVID. We haven't seen community members because of life in the world and the way it is right now. So it was nice to see some faces familiar and new and get to know people. So there's our intro, Sean and Kim. All right, take me off this.
Thanks so much. Up next, we have, what did I say? Meg and Crystal. Before they speak, just wanted to uplift that Alex has offered up Coyote Cone as a community meeting place. So we can all, get to know each other and continue the being engaged in the community. So, and Brian has a name for it, Coyote Cone Community Connections. Fantastic. So maybe Alex and Shauna want to offer up a few times that coming up that we can do that. And now we'll get to Meg.
I just wanted to answer a couple of points that Brian made where I clarify. So I think Brian had some wonderful points, and it's always good to start with our founding documents, but the CSD is a government agency, an entity. So we don't have bylaws, but we are governed by California laws. So, and it is unwieldy. It's a very different model, and it's a big learning curve, but that's why things like the closed sessions are have to be listed a particular way, but really smart move to look at our founding documents, and that's what governs the board's operations is the state law. So that was it. I put it in the comments, so I took my hand down.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much, Meg, for that clarification. I really appreciate it. Now, I just have a quick question. Can those be amended at all?
I think it needs to go through like a legislative process. So you can Google, I'll see if I can find a link and put it in, but Google that there's actually a whole section in the state law that governs community service districts.
Great, thank you so much.
So yeah, I'll see if I can find one. My connectivity is really bad, but I'll share it later. But wise move to always look at our founding documents as we plan.
Meg, I feel like you know everything and hold all the history.
No, not at all. Far from it. And we have a lot of directors who on this call right now that have served many years. So it's I think together, we can pull this out. There's a lot of experience, and it's not the first time that we've been through things like this, but it's, like someone said earlier, I think Janet, we were all sort of cold cocked by this. So we're trying to catch up, but I would like to think, especially with so many people expressing interest, that we'll solve this.
Awesome. I think that we had Crystal up next, and I don't see any hands after that. So if you guys want to raise your hands or put it in the chat if you want to speak, we will definitely send it your way. And Crystal, you're up.
I forget how to unmute. I'm learning. I just wanted to piggyback on what Kim was saying. I know it's a hot topic right now with the fire department, but the CSD board is also what's in charge, or they make, I don't know, our laws or pass things here for us. And what I was explaining, my husband and I built a house 2 years ago, and the hoops that we had to go through because of Yearsley. And I get somebody wrote he's leaving. Okay, I don't know, but we had to go through the hoops. But the board, they were, it was all for the fire sprinklers. And they did not want to tell me how to get the paperwork or what we needed and what we needed to do. But because I don't take no for an answer, I just kept at it until I got Gail Schwartz's personal phone number, which she wasn't happy about. But the problem is she has this power. And the fact that there's a power over people, because I think maybe back in the day she did good. I don't know. I was trying to ask my mom how long she thinks Gail has been on the board, and she has been on the board off and on. It hasn't been a continuous, but she's been there a long time. But I think when you have the same person that is in that position of power as president, then I don't know, it goes to their head. But just to get my sprinkler system passed, I had to jump through the hoops and literally had to threaten them with going to the DA, because the DA was the only one that was in Joshua Tree that could get me my letter. And once I told them that, because I knew some people who knew what vernacular to use, I was able to get my sprinklers inspection and get all that stuff taken care of. But my frustration is, like Kim said, it was like, if we don't, we're all on the fire department, which we love our fire department. We don't want our fire department to go away, but there's other issues that the board control. And if we get new members, that can be the board members. I think there's a lot of community members now that come from other parts of the world, and they're not all just Morongoids or whatever we're called, that were born and raised here, and we get set in our ways. And Vanessa and Brian, you guys are new to me, but it's nice to have the fresh faces and people that I think that can help with the uncertainty of things, because some people are afraid to learn new things, but we also may not know how to go about things and how to get things done. I know Meg has mentioned many times in meetings I've been to, doing the grant writing for those grants is very difficult, and that it takes like a special person that knows how to write grants. I don't know how to do that. But hopefully with the new people that are coming to move here and live here, they want to be a part of that, and maybe they have the education to help us figure some of this stuff out. So I just wanted to make sure that we need the board members that want to make change, and we have got to get those at least I know this, if she's on here, I'm not trying to be a bad person. You just can't, we need change, and we have got to get the board members out of here that are just one-sided, because it's not about one side. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Crystal. I don't have any more hands raised. Please, so let me know if anyone wants to chat. If we don't have any other things that people feel moved to speak about right now, we could probably go back to doing introductions, if people are into that.
No, Sean on here now. If you, Sean, you want to do your intro?
Sean, you're being called upon.
Sean. Oh, he doesn't have a mic. My bad.
Okay. Yeah, Sean, you can do it in the chat. You can put it in the chat. It says Jack. Jack, have you introduced yourself yet? Maybe we should bounce it to you to introduce yourself. And then there's silence. All right, I'm going to go back to some of the usual suspects to just do intros so people know who they are. And then we'll bounce it to some of the less usual suspects. So maybe Meg Foley, did you? Oh yeah. Yeah, you have spoken a lot, but I'm not sure you did a full intro. So if you'd like to do a full intro, I'm handing it over to you.
I thought I did. So yeah, I've lived here in Morongo for almost 40 years and homeowner for about 34, and have just been involved. Nothing happens in a community our size without volunteers. So even if you're not sure about wanting to run for the board, I mean, I look at what Buddy and his group has done with the Youth Sports League and other volunteers before them. Any of the events, the Halloween event they just did is great. So that's a great way to start contributing to the community and get involved and get to know people and see if you want to take a director's seat, and know that comes, it's a tough job, and it's comes with a bullseye on your back. It's thankless, but it's really needed. And you know, as I think Gail or Christine said at the last meeting, there's been recent elections where we haven't had an election. You know, we had 2 or 3 vacancies and only 2 or 3 people step up. So it would be wonderful to be in a position robust enough where we could, you know, have a selection and have debate about some of the issues. So anyway, I think everyone else on the call, I love it here in Morongo. I moved here because of the preserve, and also started out back east, but I like the winters better here. And yeah, just love it in Morongo. So to the new folks, welcome. Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Meg. And I do remember you introducing yourself now, so thank you for doing it twice. So I, at this point, can just call on other random people to introduce themselves. I see someone on here named Nancy Sams. Nancy, would you like to introduce yourself? And no is an okay answer to that, by the way. Okay. Not coming off mute, so I'm gonna bounce it to Eric Rosenberg.
Hello there. My wife and I moved to Morongo in April. Been attending the CSD meetings regularly. I've only missed probably 2. From what I've gathered, the first thing the board needs to do is separate the operations manager and fire chief position, so they can actually advertise for a new operations manager and a new fire chief. Curious why that hasn't happened already. Did some searching today. Couldn't find any listings for either of those positions. There is a committee, don't forget, on Sunday, 1 o'clock, Covington Park, in the multi-purpose room. Other than that, hi.
All right. Do you want to call on someone else, since I don't want to be the only annoying person in the room?
Has Stuart Primack?
Sure. Oh, wait, I see someone else went on. Wait, Matthew Campos, have you introduced yourself yet?
It was a long time ago, but yes, happy to introduce myself. Matthew Campos. I was a member of the CSD board for 5 years. I didn't run this last election. 5 years was, talk about a thankless job. But I do have some ideas and ways to help out. Anybody else too that is interested in running, I am happy to share what knowledge I have on how to run a campaign and to help you out with that. I personally am looking for, somebody that's got a young family. I'm an old fart. I've been here longer than some and not as long as others. But I love this community, and I have such admiration and respect for the folks at the fire department, the men and women that serve us. And I mean, we've got a team of people actually that would be willing to help out in helping with campaigns, telling you what to do and how to do it, and giving you some guidance, because we've been through it before. In fact, one of our previous firefighters also had a company that ran campaigns. So, we've got some knowledge to help you out. But like I said, I'm looking for somebody that's got a young family, somebody that is putting down roots here in Morongo Valley and building a future. And that's what we need to really get things going where we need to be. I'm just proud of the fact that so many people are here tonight, and that's really cool. Honestly, there were times when we had 2 people at a CSD meeting, and one of those 2 persons was the news reporter from Z107, and the other person was a spouse of one of the board members. So, so it's really exciting to see so many people here taking an active, vital interest in what's going on in our community. Depending on what comes back from the closed session, I completely agree that we need to voice our opinion and our frustration with some of the members of the board. Some of them have their minds already made up regardless of what goes on. I'm sure that it's very loud and contentious in there right now. They let their emotions get away with them, as opposed to really thinking about the logical aspects of their argument. But in any regard, I think we as the community need to let them know how we feel. and what we expect and where we want this CSD to go. So I'm available for questions also at any time. You know, Megan and I, we've got a few years on this, so we can always help out.
Vanessa?
Sorry, Meg, for speaking for you.
Concerned citizen, did you want to speak?
I came back on. I wanted to see, since it's starting to slow down a little bit, if anyone had any questions, I'd like to answer some questions. I'm in talks with the current firefighters, and I know they don't want to chime in. They're on duty, and I did want to add, some of them have been on duty for 15 to 20 days straight. That's 24 hours straight. And they're not doing it for the money. They're doing it for this department, to support this department. If they walk out the door tomorrow, it might get shut down. I really hope the community understands these firefighters are they're away from their families right now, their wives and their kids. And they're not just doing it for the dollar. We talk about that's doing it for the paycheck, but these guys are like trying to keep this department afloat. They have to use the union to help part of the fight. The chief is fighting with them weekly. The chief insults them. He says racist comments to them. Chief has lied to me over the phone personally. I don't like dealing with the chief. And I really want to say your firefighters on duty right now, they're watching, they're listening, they're really putting themselves out. One guy's been on the job for 22 days. I've never met Johnny. He's a firefighter paramedic. I've talked to the guy and I can tell if I had my own department, I'd probably hire him. This guy has a lot of heart. And this Chris Chavez, these guys are really going to work for the citizens here. They're not just doing it for the paycheck. They're really trying to keep this place afloat. And I really hope the community knows that these guys are doing. These guys aren't the first guys. Other guys that came before them have done it too. The Gortner, who was on earlier tonight, he didn't want to leave. A lot of these guys don't want to leave to go on to better, but they get forced. Their hand gets forced, and they just don't want to work in a hostile a toxic work environment anymore. And your firefighters right now on duty right now, they are working so hard. I'm outside the area. I'm probably going to send some food to them tomorrow. If you're a member of the community and you have a time, if you're driving by, just go by and say hi to them and say thank you to them. Because I've worked as a professional firefighter 5-10 days straight. It's hard on your body. I've never done 20 straight like these guys have done. I don't think I have in a long time. And I really hope the community, these guys, they don't have to do this. They're trying to hold it. It's a big wall like a dam, and it's cracks and the water's coming out. And these guys are spread out their hands and their legs trying to hold this thing together for you guys. And they're really putting themselves out for the community. And now you guys know what's going on. And if there's any questions, I can ask questions because I don't work there right now, so I can ask the questions. But there's a lot that I think the community needs to know what's happening. I can't use my real name because of the retaliation. I don't want to be retaliated against. That's how bad it is to work there right now. So, and there's been lawsuits. You guys know there's been lawsuits against the department. As taxpayers, that costs you a lot of money. When someone gets wrongfully fired and then they sue and then they settle, you taxpayers have to pay for that. You should know about this.
Does anyone have any questions for any of the folks who've offered? Meg, Citizen, Civic, and if you don't want to speak out, you can always write your question in the chat.
I have got a message to share from Brennan Gorder. He says that he's willing to help out with consulting and hiring and campaigning if needed. So there's some more help.
That guy's an awesome guy. That is an awesome resource. I've met him. He's a great guy.
I am so sorry that he left our department. He is awesome. I have a lot of admiration and respect for Captain Gorder. He was really an asset to the department.
And his engineer, Nate Garcia, awesome guy. I've sat down, I talked with him. I'm telling you, the department is hiring some awesome talent, some really great firefighters. They're coming there and they're leaving. And like it's come back, it's a cost savings. It's when you, again, think of it as your hospital. You don't want the best doctors and nurses walking out the front door. You want to keep them. and you don't know who's coming in now. We don't know who the new people are. You're losing great talent. And it's, I mean, the wake up call is here and you guys are really rallying and I'm impressed.
I feel
Does
like
anyone
we have a Morongo cheer at this point.
oh, can I add one last thing? The term, right now, your firefighters are part of a union, and that union word is a real ugly word to some people. I can tell you as a taxpayer, when your firefighters are union, the better protections are there. It is something I rather have than not have. The term union comes up, and union busting, and union this and union that. Please understand, the better firefighters go to union jobs, just like electrician or plumber. You don't want, if you tear down this union, and it's just, it protects the firefighters. It gives them the Bill of Rights, and it's something that they don't get like wrongfully accused. It gives them a due process. And when someone starts saying the union is bad, the firefighter union this or that, please understand the union kind of works for the public. It helps protects these guys against wrongful discipline. It protects the firefighter Bill of Rights in place. It keeps these guys in place and gives them due process where they can do a better job for the citizens. If you come to work every day with being threatened and harassed in a hostile, toxic work environment, you can't concentrate on serving the public. If you're constantly being screwed with by the fire chief and being called racist names and being harassed and the racist comments, you can't focus on your job. The union protects these guys and makes the playing field fair. So when the union term comes up, just don't like typically, oh, that's bad. I've heard that's bad. Unions are bad. It's not that way with the public safety. You want a good union fire department. It protects these guys, keeps a fair level playing field, and it keeps them working in a good, safe environment. And I'll answer any questions. If anyone here has any questions, you have your First Amendment right to speak up. You cannot be, you're an American and you have the First Amendment right to hear yourself heard and use free speech. All of us do. Anyone there?
Yep, we're all here and we all support you. And
Does anyone have questions?
Anyone have questions? Oh, I see iPhone has a hand raised.
Yeah, I just think you guys need to know that right now it's the union who's keeping the fire department here, because if they had their way, it would already be in county's hands. They have to give written notice to the MOU to be able to dissolve or go elsewhere. And right now, it's only your union who is keeping them here.
Yep. If I could put something in check, if you want a wall, put the union on one of the side of the wall and put a Nazi dictator on the other side. And the union is the only thing that's keeping this guy from running wild and making radical changes right now. The union's holding it together. And some of us, what you public doesn't know is we had to rally, like the Palm Springs guy that called in earlier tonight. We had to rally union members surrounding the community and let them know what's going on. I called the press. The press was notified. Other government agencies were notified. Other unions around surrounding. We rallied. I went all the way to Orange County and rallied the guys at Orange County because they've dealt with this before, and they're used to this. So we, as firefighters, and it's not like in the union, we're not trying to hurt the public, but we're trying to keep our jobs secure from corruption. We rallied from San Bernardino County to Palm Springs to Orange County this week. A couple of us rallied to protect the Morongo Valley Fire Department. We rallied for the community. And we made press releases, we made notices. I've sent notices to the Chamber of Commerce to save the department. There's people that are working in the background to save this department and support the community and support our firefighters on duty right now. We are rallying. No one's sitting back and just throwing mud. We're trying to hold up that dam from breaking. I promise you, people are volunteering and working tirelessly to support your firefighters that are on duty right now, away from their families. We are supporting them. We're supporting you guys, and we're trying to make it work. This is a life safety issue. And I'm not doing this to get paid or anything on the backside. I'm doing it to help these guys out.
Thanks again. I just want to uplift that Alex has volunteered to collect things that our firefighters need. So if there are some needs, it sounds like let us know and Alex will help coordinate.
Yeah. And like someone said, maybe stop by the station tomorrow, just say thanks. 22 days. Can you imagine going on a working your job or going on vacation 22 days straight and you just want to go home or put clean clothes on? These guys are doing it for the community and keep the department up. They're not doing it just for a paycheck.
But
They're
this
going-
operations manager doesn't want the public down at the firehouse. He has purposely made it clear public is not allowed at the firehouse.
Well, let me ask you this. Who paid for the firehouse?
The citizens, that's why we should be allowed down there.
Yeah, that's
But
the first heard of
you're
this.
down, gets ran off by him.
I'll be there tomorrow, 2 to 4. Come and join me.
It's a public building paid by your tax dollars. Business hours are probably 8 to 5. I'm sure the guys go and see Johnny and Chris. And I don't know who else is on. Just go meet those. They're really nice guys. And just tell them thanks if you can. I mean, I think Chris is married. He has a wife in 22 days. So I hope to help out.
Can I just ask who's the host of this meeting that that the CSD board has got?
Mr. Breakbill is
bouncing back and forth between the private meeting that they're in on. I mean, can we get an update as to what's going on? It's been over 2 hours. So whoever is part of that, please speak.
No, not until the closed session is completed, then they come back to the main meeting and they'll give us a report.
Does anyone have any questions about fire department operations? Is there something you want to know why you guys are here and you guys are active? Is there something like the new fire? I don't know the new fire engine that well, but is there something like, like if there's CPR progress, why does a fire truck show up to your medical emergency? Does anyone have any questions that just don't know or always wanted to ask? How does certain things work? Anybody?
Yes, could you explain?
Do you have
as general manager? Sorry.
I didn't hear the question. Is about a general manager.
The importance of having a general manager and separate, and then a fire chief, the accountability, the flow chart of responsibilities, the pyramid, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, it's not my area of specialty, but I think it's this was a cost saving measure to combine the two of them, but that's up to the community. It's not my area of specialty. If you could get the way I'd see it right now, you need a really strong fire chief with a strong background, highly educated and certified. The thing about the fire chief is he actually, we use the term duty officer. I say like a battalion chief. He has to be able to make battalion chief level response, where he's kind of like the general that commands the units in the field. So if it's up to, that's not my area of specialty about the doing the two things. It was a cost saving measure that I understand. And I don't, it's up to you guys on the community, whether you like it or not. I will throw out one thing. One thing that probably the community doesn't know is the Morongo Valley Fire Department has 2 very good water tenders in the back of the station. They're fairly new. These are really valuable pieces of equipment. They serve as like water tankers, like a portable fire hydrant. And the department has 2 really nice water tenders. So your community dollars have bought really nice equipment for you. You have 2 nice water tenders that I was pretty impressed by seeing those units. So the community has some good equipment. Your department has good equipment. It just needs quality command staff now.
Can you explain how much it costs for, say, turnouts, helmets, your breathing apparatus, things like that? What does it cost to outfit a firefighter / paramedic in the field?
Oh, I'll let Johnny do that.
You're talking at least, and their turnouts and brands and what you get depends on pricing, but you're talking about for bunkers, for tops and bottoms, for your structured coat, your structured pants, you're talking about at least a couple $1,000s. Again, SCBAs they're a few $1,000s too, depending on what you get and the accessories that you put on them. So you're talking about total to outfit maybe one firefighter is about 12 grand. Like I said, and that varies depending on what you get and what you add to it. But I did want to make a comment on the GM. So the GM and the fire chief, they should be separate positions, which I do think a lot of you guys agree with. And the reason for that is that the fire chief, he governs the fire department and the firefighters, and the GM governs the fire chief. But since there are two positions, he has no oversight. And I can't say much because I'm on duty, but that's kind of the problem that we have right now is that he has no oversight. Even our SOPs, SOGs, our complaints, if they were to go to Chief Yearsley, they're supposed to go to GM, but since he's both, we can't complain or we can't send grievances because now we have to go directly to the board because he has two positions. So it might not be wrong for him. It might not be illegal for him to be both, but in most fire departments, the fire chief has oversight so the GM can make sure the fire chief is doing what he's supposed to be doing.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk you, Johnny. So if you guys have a complaint, where does that go? Does that have to go to the president of the board? Are you guys comfortable going to the president of the board?
I won't say much on that. I will say that no. So again, when Captain Gorder, he did speak, and we're sorry that he left. He did a lot of good for us. He actually tried to give solutions. He tried to talk about safer grant. He talked about trying to reallocating money. He talked about a lot of things and how we can make this fire department better. And like it was stated before, he was suspended for it. So we actually can go to the board, and we have. So we actually
there are board members you trust.
I'm sorry?
So there are board members you do trust.
Who?
I said, are there board members that you trust?
Yes, two of them.
Okay. That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Be able to depend on your whole board.
Yeah, like I said, I'm on duty, so there's a lot I can't say, but
I respect that.
So the GM and the fire chief, they should be separate positions, so there's oversight, and so you kind of don't have the problems that we're having right now. You don't have the retaliation that that we're experiencing. So we're hoping that the retirement does happen, but I have my doubts. So again, I hope you guys all express your guys' concerns when they come out of the meeting. And just so you guys know, we still are in fear of our jobs. And like someone stated, if it wasn't for the union, we would be gone right now. And we're staying here for you guys because we love you guys, we love the community, we love working here, and we feel like we've done good. And I know a couple of you guys have voiced your appreciation, and we do appreciate that. And we love what we do, and that's why we're here. And we don't want to go. And so hopefully we don't get closed, but I'm speaking the truth right now. And honestly, Chief Yearsley is currently trying to get rid of us, and he's trying to get rid of the union because it's the union that's protecting us. So I just want you guys to know that. Thank you for supporting us.
Thanks, Johnny, for answering that for me. You're better on that board, on the general manager versus the fire chief. Thank you, buddy.
No problem. Thank you.
Up next is Jack.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you. So there's a couple things that I wanted to touch on. First and foremost, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Engineer Chavez and Firefighter Paramedic Williams and whoever the reserve is on right now for doing what you guys have been doing for so long now. And it makes me super proud. In addition to that, I want to point out how many of us former employees are on the call tonight for no reason other than we truly do care. We care about the community more than anything. It was never about the money. I know that one of the things that was put out there earlier was that this will never be a destination department, and nobody's ever been trying to make it a destination department. We've all been realistic. But I also don't think that it needs to be a stepping stone training department, especially with the ALS complement. It's huge for the community. The area that the community is in, I mean, you need that. You need the experience. You need the commitment. Pay has always been an issue, and we've been trying to figure out ways to get through that. And unfortunately, they haven't come to fruition. But we haven't had a problem like this. And it's amazing to see how many of us are coming together now to make things work, to get the community to see what we've been trying to do all along. I've served with these guys. I've worked with them for years. The amount of experience, that's not something you want to lose. And then touching on the union part of it, yeah, you know, if you're not paying a lot, which we all know we can't afford it. We've never asked for a lot. But having a union, that is incentive. It's incentive and protection. And that's how you're going to get the qualified candidates. And I know that there are qualified candidates who want to come and work here. There always have been. The problem is the morale.
Do what?
We're back.
Finally. 2 people. Oh my gosh, finally.
Well, I guess I'll hand the
Yay!
meeting to the actual board.
Well, I guess some of us are back. Everybody's not back yet.
Well, maybe someone here wants to report back to the board. The members who are here.
When we're all back in, you will have a report.
Okay.
When all of the board members are back.
We're just chit-chatting, you know, filling the time, connecting with our fellow community members.
Good. Okay, we're missing Tink and
I'm in.
Shanna. Oh, there you are. Okay, Lori, Tink. Oh, we need Christina Brooke.
She's there. I'm here.
She is? Okay. All right, and is our council in?
Yes.
C. Kennedy, is he here?
Yes.
Yes, Madam President, I'm here.
Okay. Mr. Kennedy, would you give the report out of the closed session, please?
Sure. Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. The board met in closed session under item E of the agenda. The first item was public employee performance evaluation. Reportable action on that. The board has instructed staff to provide during its monthly meetings as part of a report, public report, including in the materials, the number of applications that are received during that month and the disposition of those applications without identifying any personal information or any information that would be prohibited from disclosure by the Public Records Act, but to provide that information to the board and to the public. So that would be part of the monthly materials. With no other reportable action was taken on that item. With respect to the second item, public employee recruitment appointment, the board has authorized 2 things. One is the formation of an ad hoc committee composed of directors Klimowitz and Tolbert on the transition to hiring a new director of operations following the retirement of Chief Yearsley. The second thing that the board authorized was instructed its legal counsel to negotiate an interim contract with Chief Brakebill to provide director of operation services as Chief Yearsley transitions into retirement. No other reportable action was taken with respect to that item. And then with respect to the third item, the board discussed potential exposure to litigation. And as a result of that, the board has instructed its legal counsel to negotiate an agreement to be further described by Director Brooke, but to begin negotiations on a backup agreement with County Fire that would result in no layoffs to employees and no change in employment with any of the existing employees while the district is looking to fully staff its fire department, but to negotiate a backup agreement with the county and to run that agreement through the meet and confer process with the union once that agreement has been presented, and then to bring that back for future consideration. And I think at this point, Director Brooke will provide more clarity as to the nature of the contractual arrangement that she's proposing.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Madam President, did you want me to go ahead and provide my report?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you everyone who is here and who hung in there with us while we were in closed session so that you could hear the outcome of our closed session. And thank you for all the input that you all gave at the last meeting and meetings that we've been having. Our goal has always been that we want our own fire department and our own staff. We heard your concerns to not close our fire department, and none of us really wanted ever to close the fire station. It's exactly why the motion to close the fire station and turn it temporarily over to County Fire was not seconded at and the motion died. So we never actually did take action on that at all, because we don't want that to happen either. And unfortunately, as you all know, we had a large staff turnover. And so we need to be able to have the time to hire the staff that we no longer have. We have 2 staff members left, and we have our Deputy Chief Brakebill, and we have our Fire Chief Yearsley right now. So we heard your concerns, and we wanted to come up with another solution. When I was in the meeting, I kept writing on my paper, there has to be a middle ground compromise. Somehow there has to be a middle ground. But there was so much going on in the meeting that I couldn't get my head wrapped around it, and I couldn't come up with something to offer as that. But after I got off the meeting and I took a few deep breaths and I started to clear my head, the picture kind of came into my mind of what could possibly happen. Because what I was hearing in the meeting was that possibly the county wanted to do all of our shifts for us. And so I started clearing my head and taking a few deep breaths. And during that time, Deputy Chief Brakebill called me and he asked me, hey, how are you doing? That was a tough meeting, you know, a lot of information going back and forth. And I said, yeah, but I'm having an idea that's starting to pop into my brain that I'd like to pass by you since you're on the phone. And I started to talk to him about, hey, couldn't our guys just run their normal shifts? Can't they just do, you know, for lack of a better way to say it, A shift, and then maybe the county could do the B and the C shift? And he said, you know, that might work, but maybe the county does want to do A, B, and C. But I said, you know, we don't want to lay any of our employees off. We want to work in collaboration with whoever's going to be helping us. So I needed to further clear my head about that. And so Chief Brakebill suggested, why don't I call Chief Yearsley in the morning and tell him what I'm thinking about this? Like, we run it, we run all this A shift and the county helps us out on B and C. So then I talked to Chief Yearsley and he said, I would like you to call Chief Tuttle directly because I don't want your idea to be mixed up with maybe how I might translate it to the chief, to Assistant Chief Tuttle of the county. And I liked that idea because I wanted my idea to actually be articulated exactly how I was thinking about it. So I called Chief Tuttle at 3:25 p.m. That was on Wednesday after our Tuesday meeting. He didn't pick up right away, but he called me back at 4 o'clock. And at that time, I mentioned what exactly I'm telling you right now, community. And he said, oh my goodness, that is exactly what I was thinking we should do because he heard your concerns too. He said he knew that we don't want to close down our fire station. And he said, we are not intending to take over your fire station. We know that you want to maintain your rural fire services. We just want to be there to be a helping hand to you during this time when you are short on staff. So I told him about my idea about A, B, and C. And he said, you know, figuring out when your guys are always going to be on like A, like what exact time that is or whatever, and when's B and when's C coming on. He goes, I'll do you one better. He goes, you guys just run your shifts. Whatever your shifts are, you just run those shifts. And, you know, whatever that is within OSHA compliance and, you know, state of California law compliance, whatever, you just run your shifts and we'll just be running right beside you. Like, you know, like a wingman. We'll be just right there with you. And you know what? And your guys, if they want, they can call us off. They can say, you know, well, it turned out to be only like a scraped knee or something. And they can just call us off and we'll go back. But he goes, we want to be there to help you during this difficult time. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's fantastic, you know, because I thought he might say, no, we need to really do, if we're going to do it, we're going to do A, B, and C. We're not going to do, but no, he was totally collaborative and totally wanted to do this with us. And he said, the only thing is I need to pass this by now, the chief, the county chief, which is County Chief Muncie, and he'll get back to us. Well, he did pass it by County Chief Muncie, and County Chief Muncie is in full agreement with this. They just want to help us out for the time that we're going to do this rehiring and having the transition with our fire chief. So our guys will not be laid off. We will still be able to provide 24/7 fire and paramedic services in Morongo Valley for our constituents, which is what we want. And, you know, really, what does it matter if we end up having two companies come out for you know, a minor incident or whatever? Hey, at least we've got it covered. And so now we will have our county support to back us up. And so what our legal counsel just said was, we want to give direction to our staff to have legal counsel explore some type of a relationship like this, where it's a completely collaborative agreement to help us through this tough time, but that no firefighters will be laid off, no paramedics. We will run our shifts, and to have our legal counsel work with their legal counsel, and that we would then, as provision of MOU 0.1.7.33 of the firefighters MOU with us from their union, give them due notice, give them a chance to meet and confer with us about this agreement and fine tune it till we get it to where everybody likes it. It's not going to happen overnight by any stretch of the imagination to have an agreement like this put into place. But I want to say that we are so grateful for all your input, and to make us all push our brains as far as we could. And I'm just so grateful for the county fire chiefs and the relationships that have been built from our fire chief. We've gone out to collaborative events together, and Chief Tuttle sure is a really nice person. He's just amazing to work with. And I just want to thank him so much for being open to this idea. It may not be the idea that, you know, we end up with completely, but at least it's a starting point tonight. And we feel confident that until this agreement is made, that the other two things that we talked about tonight will be happening, and that our liability exposure is more limited due to the fact that we are doing our due diligence. And so I'm so very happy. I don't serve on this board to close our fire department. I serve on this board so that we have 24/7 paramedics. That's why I've been giving 9 years of my life so far to this. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Christina. Before we open up for public comments, I would just like to concur with our county, our council, our CSD council, and with Christina, that nothing is going to happen immediately, because our council, Mr. Kennedy, is going to have to work with the county to come up with the proposal. And it has to be in writing, it has to be on paper, and it has to be agreeable to the county and to us. So that will take some time. So all we're doing right now, all the board is doing right now, is asking our council to meet with the county and with our proposal, with the proposal that Ms. Brooks talked about. And then that will have to be brought back to the board for us to vote on it, yes or no. So nothing, tomorrow, everything is going to be the same. Although we are also working on a contract with Mr. Brakebill, an interim fire chief contract, so that he can take this month to learn all the ins and outs of what our district needs from a director of operations, which is both fire chief and GM. And in that process, we have a committee that is going to be looking for a new director of operations. We're going to fly the position, and I think it's Johnny Tolbert and Lori Klimowitz are going to be the ad hoc committee that are going to interview people who submit their applications for that job. And then we're also going to take applications from firefighters and firefighter paramedics, and they will get interviews all in this month. So nothing is going to change immediately. And everything that we are going to do will be brought back to hopefully it'll be done maybe by our regular December meeting. Might not be possible, but everybody's going to work really hard to find some new employees for our district that want to work on our fire department, and a new director of operations to continue on to take the role at the end of December, or Mr. Brakebill will stand in for us until we find somebody that can do that job. So I just wanted everybody to understand that. We've actually only directed our council to start the negotiations. And we are also telling the staff we want them to fly the positions, get applications in, and start interviewing applicants. So that's where we stand right now. Now we have public comments, and I will call you one person at a time, and you have 3 minutes. Let me get back to you have 3 minutes, and when you speak, you have your 3 minutes, and after that, please do not break in. You have had your 3-minute comment, and the next person will have theirs. Thank you. I see that Jake has his hand up, so could we have Jake give us his comment?
Yeah, sorry, trying to unmute here. So I do have a question. So will the county, having the county contracted to respond to these calls, is it going to be costing the CSD any money by chance?
That will be negotiated.
Okay, but it will cost something, correct?
In all likelihood, yes, we probably will not be getting absolutely free services for having
Okay.
them here.
Okay, and then another question is for people who've already applied, are you guys asking for them to reapply again? Or is that something or because there's already applications in, unknown if they're found or not, but do you want everyone to just resubmit their applications again?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Jake.
Thanks, Jake. Who else? Who's the next person that would like to have input? Matthew.
Thank you. My quick question, is the Director of Operations going to be eventually divided into two positions back to the General Manager and Fire Chief?
We don't know yet. We have to see if we get any applications for a Director of Operations that can do both positions for what we are willing to, what we can afford. If we don't get any applications for that job, we may have to split it up. But as of now, we're going out for applications for Director of Operations.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Who else has their hand up? Vanessa, did you want to say something?
Sure, yeah, thank you. I just wanted to, let you know what was going on while you guys were in closed session. About 55 of us were on here talking about the issues and our concerns. And we are united in our goals for the department. I actually want to cede the floor to Brian, if he's willing to talk about some of the things we would like to see.
Okay, Brian? Brian, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay, is he around?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, hi, Brian.
Hi, everyone. We had some good chats over the last 2 hours while you guys were discussing and deliberating your decisions. I don't know if I can surmise everything that we talked about, other than, we as a community are certainly, more involved now than it seems like we have been in the past. And, I appreciate your allowing us to have these conversations and keep you guys up late the last 2 nights that we've done this week. But I think, we heard it all before, we rehashed it all today, but what we want to know from you is what's the long-term solution? What do you guys see going forward as to oversight, and who's going to be, if the chief and the director of operations, or the general manager and the director of operations, or however those titles are, who is the oversight for that? My question now is, okay, so you have these applications coming in, who's reviewing them?
It will be Mr. Brakebill.
Okay, does that?
We don't have a contract with him yet, but
Okay.
he's going to be working for the rest of this month with Mr. Yearsley, who isn't off till the 31st. And they'll start taking the applications and doing interviews. And the committee of Laura, Ms. Klimowitz and Mr. Tolbert are going to help find someone who might be able to do the director of operations. So we'll put out for applications for that too. And they're the board's committee to just interview these people and see if they look like they're a right fit. And then they'll bring them to the full board and to the community to see if we feel they're going to be right for the community.
Right. Okay. You know, I really don't have much more to say. I'm sure that, you know, there was a lot said and a lot to digest, but, you know, of course, this is the comment time from the community, so everyone will chime in as they see fit.
Thank you so much, Brian. Are you finished, Brian? I guess so. Okay, Meg Foley, she's got her hand up.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. So at the end of the last meeting.
Are you there, Meg?
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
For you.
Yeah.
Okay. At the end of the last meeting, well, the public had proposed the model of general manager and chief as one of the ways to provide some oversight and perhaps prevent us from getting in this situation again. And when you scheduled the meeting, you were looking at Brittany's schedule and she was being considered as an interim. Was that model discussed, or now I'm just hearing, you know, it's going to be advertised as one position? Did you
It was
consider that?
discussed.
Okay.
It was discussed, and this is what the board decided to do for right now.
Was to just fly the one position and hopefully keep Miss Brittany Chavez as the staff person in the office for the time being.
Okay, because I thought part of what was considered before was that since Brittany's already on staff, she could at least take the steps to fly the position while you work out an agreement with Chief Breakbill if he's willing.
That actually was a motion at our last meeting, and the motion did not carry.
Okay, thanks.
I believe that motion did not carry because it also included the immediate removal or step down retirement of Chief Yearsley. I believe if you amended the motion, that may be leaving Yearsley out of it, because at this point it's a moot point, that there could be a motion to have Brittany review applications and start the process. If you amended that motion, it might pass.
Okay, Brian, you've had your 3 minutes now, so please let other people have their opportunity.
Understood, Gail.
Thank you. Who else wants to speak? Meg, she's had her time. Who's next? Does anybody else have their hand up?
I'm an anonymous person. Can I speak?
Yeah.
Okay. I have 3 questions, and can I just ask the 3 questions in a row and then I'll stop speaking and let you answer them? Is that easier?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I have 3 short questions. I'd rather just ask the 3 in a row and let you answer them, and I won't speak after that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. It sounds like the board was in negotiations with the county and your lawyer. My first question is, why wasn't the union brought into the meeting as well? My second question is, if Chief Yearsley is ready to retire, how about he just leave right now, and then we don't have to pay him the 4 weeks of pay or 3 weeks of pay? If he's going to leave and the system's in place, can he leave now and take his RV that's in the back of the fire station and just let him go, and then we can move forward? My third question is, why do we have to pay the county at all for dispatching when we already have mutual aid and auto aid already in place? Why can't we just use the mutual aid and auto aid and let them soft cover the station instead of paying for dispatch services that are already in place? The system's in place. Why not use the system instead of pay extra? And we could save a lot of. That's it.
I can answer that for you.
Thank you.
If they will not consider mutual aid, number one, while we have only 2 people who have been working for 13 or 14 consecutive days, that is not their protocol. And if we only have the 2 guys working their normal shift, then it's not mutual aid anymore, because the other days there won't be anybody to mutual aid for them. That's one of the things. The other thing about Mr. Yearsley is Mr. Yearsley has 4 years of experience. I'm it would take me the rest of the evening to talk about all the different things that have to be done to put somebody, even Mr. Brakebill, up to snuff on all the things going on. There are agreements that have to be signed. We have a park grant that's going to be coming due. There's all kinds of paperwork, and Brittany doesn't do all of it. And there's got to be a person who actually signs the documents, and they have to understand everything. So there's a really lot to find out. And Mr. Yearsley has said he will stay until the end of December so he can bring Mr. Brakebill up to snuff on everything, or somebody else. If we find someone else that wants to be the director of operations, he'll still be here to help coordinate that transition. And
Okay,
the union wasn't brought in on this specific thing because there is no contract yet. We have to wait to see how the contracts are going to work. And then we will have to go to the union and look at their contract and see how we can coordinate this all. So like I said, it's not going to happen tomorrow or next week. It's going to take a while for this all to happen.
Thank you. Thank you for answering my questions.
You're welcome.
Gil, could I also answer one question that was kind of a between the line question?
Sure.
We keep hearing a lot about would Chief Yearsley just remove his RV and stop using our electricity, kind of a thing. We see that on Facebook all the time. I want to make sure that everybody understands him using the electricity. We did a cost analysis of that, and it's less than $30 a month, and it was negotiated into his contract to be able to do that. So he is not stealing electricity from our district. It's in his contract. And the reason why is we've been so appreciative that he lives way far away, 2 hours away from where we are. So having him live out of his RV behind our station has allowed him to be able to respond immediately on calls. And he is not stealing electricity. It's negotiated into his contract, and it's less than $30 a month. And so I wanted to clear that up once and for all.
Thank you. I didn't ask about the electricity, but I know the crew would like to see him go, but thank you for answering my question.
Thank you. I've just heard the electricity thing on the Facebook over and over, and I just wanted to finally have a chance to clear that up.
Okay, that wasn't my question. Thank you.
Rinda, I see your hand is up.
Yes. So throughout the last two meetings, I've heard several firefighters on here say that they are qualified and that they will not work under Chief Yearsley for some reason. Is it the correct action to take to turn over interviews to him to fulfill positions he hasn't been able to fulfill currently and to hire his replacement?
I mean, I think Ms. Brooks said, yes, anybody who put in a application and still wants to work in the fire department can reapply, and they will be interviewed by Mr. Brakebill, because he's going to be taking over as the interim chief. We still have to figure out a contract for him, but that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
And
the people
and we have a committee, Director Tolbert and Director Klimowitz, who are going to be part of the committee who will be interviewing applications for Director of Operations.
Okay. And assure the community that the applicants who are qualified and willing to apply again have some fears that the resignation will be rescinded.
Oh,
that the board will not allow the
resignation
to be rescinded.
No, that's not going to happen.
Okay.
Mr. Yearsley has only said he would be here till December 31st. That's it. Okay, thank you, Rinda. U693CL. Do you have a question?
Gail,
This is Janet Osborne.
Oh, hi, Janet.
Hi. So you've determined to keep the GM fire chief position combined, correct?
We are going to see if we can find any applicants for that position, because that saves a great deal of money to combine those two positions. That's why we did it originally. And if we can't find anybody that is qualified or wants to do that, then we will have to do something else. And we're going to give it a month or 6 weeks to see if we can find someone that is capable of taking on that position.
Because
and if not, we'll have to do something else.
Okay, because I think that having the two positions combined kills accountability. That's obvious in what's happened at the station and the lack of people at the station, in my opinion.
Okay.
And so I really believe that the best thing to do would be to separate the positions, because the cost of losing the fire department is way too high. I just want to leave you with this. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for speaking up. Sharon L. I can't read your whole last name.
Before we do that, can I ask why we're not allowed to chat? Chatting has been disabled for myself and a few other people here.
Well, I don't know if that's chatting. I honestly don't know anything about that. Does
It may have gotten to maximum. It's on 99. It may have gotten to maximum. I don't know.
Try chatting now. Is it Jim can answer that for them, please?
Oh, look, it's back on.
My chat turned off. Just turned it back on.
Vanessa, that was my fault. I leaned against the mouse and it clicked the wrong button. So no malintent on my part, but that was my mistake.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sharon Corsaro?
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi. First, I'm going to just say I've never, I've been involved in a lot of government process and community process, and I'm not familiar with this Q&A that's going on. So I'm going to I'm going to do public comment as I am educated to know that that's what I'm doing. I'm not engaging. I'm going to speak, if that's okay.
Yeah, you've got 2 minutes and 37 seconds left.
Thank you. So my name is Sharon Corsaro. I spoke before when you all were on closed session. There were 60 some community members here talking, and when you guys came back, it was a little bit disjointed because there wasn't an acknowledgement of that. There was a lot of dialogue that went on during that, and I want to say I am my 89-year-old mother lives here in Morongo and has for decades. My grandmother, who passed in the 1970s, came here in the 1950s. I've been a part of this community for a very long time. You haven't seen my face, you haven't involved with me, but I do know this place. It is vital that the emergency services remain intact. It is extremely concerning to me when I was told 2 days ago without knowing anything, and I'm in the community, I'm caretaking with my mother right now. I have been here for many months, and it is extremely concerning to me that all of a sudden I was told, hey, yeah, they're going to close down the fire station. And I said, what? So I need it to be really understood by this board that you are in service to this community. It is not a willy-nilly, there are management issues. Clearly, there are management issues. The position that you're going to fly, I've worked in the government. I know how hiring is done. You need to fly the position as it is desired to be filled. And the community have voiced extremely loudly in my witness that the position needs to be separated for accountability. What's gone on right now cannot happen. It is unacceptable. And to have the emergency services personnel who are tasked with the job of saving lives in a medical emergency to be under such severe pressure is unacceptable and not effective. I say to this board, please remember who you work for. Please forgive me, but I gotta be blunt. Remember who you work for and allow the management issues to be rectified so that the community's emergency services have enormous support. We need a healthy, supportive environment to do the job of keeping this place safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Chris Chavez.
It's actually Jonathan. We're using his computer, so it says his name. I just want to let you guys know that it's actually me. And I just I want everybody to thank the board. No, it's not press. So I've been working here, and we're doing everything to keep this department open. Two things I want to clarify: we do not need a contract for county fire to run with us. They do that already. It's called mutual aid or auto aid. They've already been on fires with us. We don't need them on medical aids because we get there really quick and we will counsel them anyway because MBA's on their way and they also have a paramedic and EMT. So to charge the citizens possibly $18,000 or any extra money does not need to happen because we are here and we take care of our community. And then second, there is no staffing issue. We have already told you guys that as soon as Yearsley gone, people will work. And I'm actually deeply offended that he's going to stay on when we have addressed many concerns. It is a hostile work environment with him here. He needs to go immediately. And we will be up to staffing. It could be solved in a day. Thank you for hearing me out.
Thanks, Chris. Is there anyone else that has their hand up that would like to speak? Does Mr. Brakebill, do you see anybody else? Okay, iPad. Who is that?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this is Sharon Dove, and I've been watching this stuff. This is the third meeting. I don't understand why the proposal of interim general manager with Brittany and interim chief with Brakebill and going forward with the hiring process with you were supposed to be reviewing in your closed session the applications. You were questioning whether there indeed were applications available. You didn't respond whether you verified that or not, but I want to know why you're not giving that particular solution that has been brought by the community, why that's not being given equal consideration, that you have only stuck with the county, you contacted the county before you even talked to the community. The community has come back with the proposal for the interim positions. Brittany already works for the CSD. Background checks are not particularly relevant. She's doing the job. This is an interim emergency measure. And why are we paying more money to the county and pulling the county in when the community has spoken clearly that they want to see these interim positions filled now and Brakebills, and Yearsley's retirement effective immediately? Why isn't it being, it's a reasonable proposal that hasn't really been even addressed by you in detail.
Thank you for your comment, Sharon.
That's not a comment, that's a question.
I can answer if you want me to answer some of it.
Sure, go ahead.
The reason why we are not doing effective immediately is you may not know, but there is a ton of information that needs to be transferred, a transfer of knowledge. For example,
okay, I appreciate that. That's fine.
And it's only going to be another 28 days if I'm saying that right, to transfer all this knowledge. So that's why we are actually happy that we can do that transfer of information, period, before he has to leave. In terms of that interim GM proposal, we discussed it, and doing a motion in a meeting is not how you hire people. That's not how you do it. And so we met, we discussed this at length about whether we're going to keep it together, the director of operations, which is general manager and fire chief. And one of the things that is really a big consideration about that is the money. And so I called our county assessor to see, you know, how much money everybody's paying on the assessment. To have 24/7 paramedics, each family or each parcel, we have 2,601 parcels in Morongo Valley that are paying. And we get about $356,000 as part of our budget, which is our total budget's around 700,000 to run a fire department and the park. So each of those assessments is less than $200 a family or a parcel, let's just say. So it costs about $17 a month to each parcel.
Oh,
to have 24/7.
Okay, let me interrupt you before you go down that rabbit hole. The point is that on an interim basis, you're willing to bring in the county and pay them a lot of money when we have interim solutions, and that is how you make an interim adjustment. You bring in people. It's not rocket science, okay? You've got personnel that's available to step in. If you want Yearsley to remain during a transition, fine. Don't put him in charge of hiring. And you have interim people that are qualified and vetted and willing and able to step in on an interim basis without pulling in the county. You've got mutual aid agreements in place. So you've got applications ready to be pulled in. And I don't know why you refuse to give this any open public consideration. You are not doing it, and I don't know why. Well,
Yes,
I do
we
know
are.
why,
You're
actually.
just-
I do know
It'll
why.
be great, Sharon. It'll be great when you apply maybe to be an office, a director, because then you will be privy to a lot more information that you don't have. So please
Well, then
do
you need to
apply.
share it with the community.
We are doing that. There are some things that are personnel matters that we cannot share in an open session.
You can still address a strategy that uses interim personnel. And
That's
if you
right.
want to,
And we did do that, and we did discuss that. So rest assured that we did. And the only last thing I wanted to say is, you know, I think our board would pull the two positions apart, general manager and fire chief, if we did have more funding resources in our community. And so, you know,
but you were
think
willing
about
to
it.
pay the county $18,000 a month.
Because right now we're actually paying overtime. Do you understand?
Well, you need to flush those numbers out with the community. We're not brain dead.
That's right. That's right. So we will be doing that, and that's what we're going to be doing. That's what our legal counsel is going to be doing. We haven't put a price tag on this or anything else. So,
I mean, this you're, like she said, you're doing the same thing that caused the problem in the first place. You're making the same
Sharon,
mistakes over and over again.
Sharon, your 3 minutes are up, and I would like to mention that for the last 4 years, up until the COVID crisis, and even up until this year, our fire department has been running. We have not in the last 4 years had to dip into our line of credit at the bank. We have, because of the person we have in charge, we have been able to send out strike teams, and they have brought a lot of money into the district that we can use for buying things that the guys need, like turnouts, like equipment, like that kind of stuff. And it's only because of the person that was at the helm that was able to do this. And I know that a lot of people have some opinion of the director of operations. I don't know where they get their information from, but we have had guys doing a good job. And it was only because of COVID and the fact that people aren't, you say I want to see all these applications that we're being told.
Well, that's what you were supposed to be doing in session.
No, listen, Sharon. We cannot look, the board members are not allowed to look at applications to tell if they're qualified or not qualified. That's not we are not allowed to do that by law.
I know, but you were bringing Brittany into that meeting to verify that
Sharon,
they exist.
I'll cut you off if you don't stop. I really will.
You already have.
Because you're not giving me a chance to answer your question. We know that there are now some, we don't know how many, applications. And now we'll see in the next week or two how many of those people that applied before are applying and how many of them are qualified, and they will be put on the fire department. And that's the best we can do. Thank you. Your time is up, Sharon. Next, who's next? Jason Moray. You're up, Jason. Jason, I see your hand up.
I don't know what that means. If you like, I can search the web for. I see your hand up.
No, I'll go on to Mike. Mike Huff. Your hand is up. Do you want to speak, Mike? Okay, is there anyone else that would like to speak at this time? Suzanne. Suzanne, do you want to?
Hi, yes, I have a couple of questions. And to the previous lady, I wish I could donate my 3 minutes to you because you were awesome. So my concern is you heard an active employee from the fire department talk about a hostile environment. And I was wondering if you guys have conducted an investigation and what the outcome of that was. If you haven't, that's negligence. Second is I would like to know where we can find information about board members and how to basically revoke them if they are corrupted. Can you please tell me where I'm able to find that? And that's all.
Suzanne, you have to go to the county board of voters, and they will give you a petition. You have to get a certain percentage of the people who voted in the last election to sign a petition to have a recall. And then and if you get enough signatures on that petition for a recall, you can call for a recall, and it's going to probably cost the district, I don't know, maybe $5,000-$10,000 to have a recall because it won't be on their regular schedule. And Christina and Lori and our terms are up at the end of next year. If you can't wait that long, that's what you have to do to you recall us. That's the way you get elected officials out of office. And on your other question about the hostile work environment, the person who is being named for that is retiring and will not be here after December 31st. So it's a moot point. They're going to be gone. We all heard what you said, and the person heard what the community said, and he's retiring. So that situation has been solved.
So it technically hasn't if he's still employed and being employed till the end of the year. Technically, through an employer, please don't talk over me. I'm not done talking. Technically, if you conduct an investigation and you find out you are to fire him. Am I incorrect? And if you haven't fired him, what was the findings?
Gail, hold on a second. Hold on, Gail, hold on a second.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Okay. Mr. Usually had agreed to retire. His retirement reflects nothing upon whether he was investigated for hostile work environment or not. The board has never stated who was being investigated, if the investigation was going to be done. We did receive complaints at this time to save the district money. And with part of his retirement coming in play, we did not do an investigation. We did not say he's guilty. We didn't say he's not guilty. We didn't say anything about that. No one on this board has accused Mr. Usley of any wrongdoing.
But the employees have.
And we've heard them, and we are working to take care of that. The issue is, for us to do an investigation, we have to move forward in certain ways with our legal counsel. We've been advised at this time that that is not necessary for us to do. That is the reason why we are not going forward in the investigation.
So who decided, okay, if you received grievances, who decided that it was not necessary to go through? Not only that, if you have written is your due diligence. It is your due diligence to conduct an investigation when you have grievances written on paper.
That is why we retain a legal counsel. And he has explained to us that no, we are not required at this time to do an investigation. If things were to change, then maybe so. But no, we have an attorney who's been doing this for many years, and he has stated that right now, based on what we've presented him with, we are not required to do an investigation.
And did you provide him the?
Excuse me, ma'am, let me finish. I will listen to you.
Go ahead.
We are ever come to a situation where we're required to do an investigation, our attorney will inform us of this, and we will make, I'm sure we will take proper steps to do such investigation. Right now, the investigation is not going forward for parts of the reasons that some of the individuals may not be here. Investigation, by the time the investigation will be completed, we will have spent your money and got you zero answers due to the fact that there will be nothing we could take process on, nothing we could do about it. So why would you want us to spend your money to do something that would not benefit you? I would much rather spend your money on the fire department, getting firefighters in here and protecting you.
You guys are the board. We are trusting you guys to do what's right with integrity. Okay, what I see is that you have complaints, and hopefully written and formal complaints from past, previous, and current employees. I don't know, I'm new to this, but it is your due diligence to conduct an investigation. Now, I've been in the business administration world for over 15 years. I have lots of experience with this. For you to decide that there's not enough information to conduct an investigation is concerning to me. That's
Okay,
something that
Dan,
you guys need to.
up. Your time is up.
Of course, my time is up because you guys.
Well, it is. Everyone gets 3 minutes, and I actually, because Johnny was talking to you, I gave you an extra minute and a half. So your time is up. We got your point. You've told us what you wanted to tell us. We don't have to keep going on over it. Jason, are you around? Jason Moray.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hi, Jason.
Yes. So, what are your current vacancies for the firefighter position?
I'm sorry, say that again, please. I couldn't quite hear you.
What is the fire department current vacancies? Like, how many vacancies are open right now?
4 vacancies are open, 2 paramedics, 2 paramedic firefighters, 2 engineers, and I don't know if we need any reserves right now, but we might need some reserves. But basically 4 permanent positions.
Okay, so perfect.
Is that
Thank
good?
you.
Sure.
Gail?
Yes.
firefighter paramedic Christina Morgan has had her hand up and would like to speak when it.
Oh,
when-
sure, sure. I just don't see it, that's all. Christina, go ahead.
Thank you, Chief. Christine, firefighter Christine, thank you. Sorry for my voice, laryngitis going on right now. I just want to state real quick that I feel that you are not giving both Chief Jim Brakebill and Brittany the credit that they deserve for their positions. Chief Brakebill has been in this industry for years, longer than I have been alive, and he can manage a department without an interim crossing from Chief Yearsley. Same thing with Brittany. She already does everything for Chief Yearsley, and I've seen that firsthand from working in the department right next door. So I think the interim moment for Chief Yearsley to be at the department is useless. And the fact that our grievances and our concerns were put up to you guys and are not met both speaks to me in the community sense and for employees that you do not care. There's a hostile environment and you're allowing something on still. Mr. Brakebill is more than capable to take over and learn from us or learn from Brittany or learn from anybody how to manage a fire department. He is a chief. He's a chief at Yermo. He's done everything he can handle on his own. Same thing with Brittany or whoever you decide to come in as general manager. They can handle, they'll pick it up. There's no need for this interim position right now. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Is there
It's
anybody
Christine
else?
with an E at the end. Thank you.
Thanks. Is there anyone else that hasn't had an opportunity to speak that would like to?
I would.
Who is that?
Chuck Osborne.
Oh, hi, go ahead, Chuck.
And what I've heard tonight, you are in dire trouble because you're leaving yourself open for the biggest lawsuit that I've ever seen with this district. You have, in a meeting, been told that you have a hostile workplace. You need to investigate this by an outside investigation immediately and remove your chief away from your firefighters that you have, because you are now against the law. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Is there anyone else? Jim, do you see anybody else?
Not at the moment.
Okay. So if there are no more comments or public comments, where am I here? I would like to go on to individual directors' reports. Vice President Brooke.
Okay, I never got to get to the end of my statement. I just wanted to let the community know that our assessment was passed in 2002. People pay less than $17 a month for services, and that we have not increased that in 19 years, and the cost of business has gone up. We've done CPI adjustments here or there, but basically it's about $17 a month. And if we had more money, we could do many more things, but we're limited on our budget. Thank you.
Director Klimowitz. Lori.
Yeah, I was unmuting myself. Have a lot of things I'd like to say, but I'm going to decide not to. It's just unfortunate that there are so many people who think they know what's going on and they don't. And this is an extremely difficult position to be in. There are many, many different facets of it that it's just apparently impossible to tell everyone. They're not paying attention to what we're saying. We do hear you. excuse me, we do hear your comments. We do discuss them. We do the best we can for everyone. We will be continuing to do that. And thank you. I do appreciate the fact that so many people came out tonight. Thank you.
To be called stupid.
Director Tolbert? Would you mute U693CL, Jim?
That person's already muted. They self-muted.
And they undid themselves again.
Are you done, Lori?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay. Director Tolbert?
First, foremost, thank you to the men and women of Morongo Valley Fire Department, Chris Chavez, Johnny Williams. I can't say thank you enough to you. Brittany Chavez, you have spent the last 2 years running this district. I can't thank you enough. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our 4th meeting in 2 weeks' time. Unfortunately, there are a few things that we have to do in closed session with an attorney that we can't tell you. There are a lot of opinions out there, and being a fire person board, we have 5 different opinions that we have to put together. In the 10 years I've been on this board, I've seen pretty much everything. I cannot say tonight that all 5 board members are working towards the same outcome. The work's being done, but it's being done, in my opinion, extremely slowly. And there are things that can be done and information that can be put out to you that you can hear and information that you can't hear. A lot of questions you ask, unfortunately, are things we have to deal with on a legal basis that we cannot reply to. For anybody who doesn't understand, when we go into closed session and meet with our attorney, we give a report out. Anything we say after that, based on that closed session, could get somebody put in jail. So we have to be very careful what we say to you and how we say it. Let me assure you, I hear you. I made the motion last meeting to ask Mr. Jules to immediately resign, immediately accept his retirement. I hear the firefighters. There are people out there who want to come work for us. That is why we brought Mr. Breakbill in to start doing interviews also. We do not want this fire department to go away. We do not want anyone to lose their jobs in this town. And we do not want to have to deal with response from Station 41 and Station 42. The wheels of government move slow. I am sorry, but that is a fact that living in this country you have to deal with. Sunday, 1 p.m., myself, Director Gorky, will be down at the NPR. Come talk to us, come give us your input. Anything that you asked that we've done in closed session, we will not be able to answer. At the last ad hoc committee meeting, 2 suggestions were brought forward to the committee. We brought them to the board. Unfortunately, they were voted down. Come talk to us. Come give us your suggestions. You give me a suggestion, it will come back to the board. I hope to see you Sunday. Have a good evening.
Director Gorky? Are you still with us?
I am. I'm here. Hi.
Oh, great.
So I really appreciate hearing the board members' comments so far, and just to kind of clue in some people that are new to attending CSD meetings. I was in your spot once. I recently, last year, was actually elected onto the position to join the board. That's not where my journey getting involved with meetings started from. I actually moved to Morongo Valley in 2015. And I had the pleasure of meeting Gail at the park, and she was letting us know the concerns that were going on at that time. And she invited me and a few friends that were there with our kids to come and attend meetings. So that's where it started, and I got more involved and finally got to the point where I stepped up and decided to become a volunteer, or at least elected volunteer in the board. And I hope that people take this passion and actually apply it and do more than just shout at meetings of what they want, and understand that there are constraints beyond the board members' controls, staff controls, things like that. But really get involved and do something, and come and join us for the meeting on Sunday, so that we can continue to have a local fire department and make things happen in our community beyond that. Because as much as I appreciate having the fire department and having that safety net in my life, honestly, I joined the board because I wanted new work. I wanted to put work, in to make the community a better place for the kids and everything else that's going on. And I'm sorry that I'm getting emotional, but I think a lot of people don't understand the position of the board and what we've been put in of this rock and a hard place, trying to appease people that want things but aren't showing up until it's gotten to this point, and it's put on us like we've done something wrong, when there's been a lot of lack of involvement from the community until this happens. So I really, really appreciate that people have joined us, and hopefully will continue to join. And we have a regular meeting every third Wednesday of the month at 6 o'clock. There's so much information on the CSD website for people to find. And I really hope that the community actually puts into action more than just shouting in a meeting, and networks and finds us the staff that we need to come and apply for these positions, and bring more focus on the other options that we have in the community and the other benefits that the CSD can bring to the community. But we really need the support. So that's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Thanks, Tink. Tink is the future of the Morongo Valley CSD. And I wish there were more people in her age group that would have joined, so that I didn't feel I had to be here. Christina Brooke and Lori Klimowitz, they weren't going to rerun for the board, but I was the only person. There were 3 openings, and there was only one person, me, who even ran for the board, because nobody wanted to do it. And then Christina and Lori said, okay, we'll do it for another 4 years. And it ended up being 5, because we had to save the district money by not having the election on an off year. And by that, we saved the district maybe $7,000 or $8,000 or $9,000 to not have a special election for our district. We paired up with the way the county does its thing. I am happy to have more younger people be on this. It's been on the older people in the community's backs for too often. And it's time for you young people to come forward and to help with what's going on. We did not make this problem, folks. We have been working tirelessly for years to keep the fire department going. And this year we finally got in a bunch, and it was because of COVID and because of a lot of reasons. But we've kept it together for you all for 4 years. And it's really hard to continue on when you're saying all these ugly, nasty things about people who have given a lot of time, free time, to you all to keep your fire department going. So please come forward, you young people. And when the next election comes around, decide that you want to be voted in and you want to be responsible for the fire department and the park. Tink did it. She's the one that did it for her age group, and I commend her for it. Now, some of you other people that have the loud mouths, you ought to come forward and start working for the betterment of the community and the CSD.
Can I
Do I have
please
a
chime,
motion to adjourn?
can I please chime into that?
Who is it?
My name is Good Citizen again. Can I please respond to that briefly?
Hey, you know, you
He
all
didn't
had
have
your
his 3
time
minutes
to
yet,
speak.
Joe. Let him speak. He didn't have his 3 minutes. Let him speak.
Let me speak, please. I hear what you're saying. I hear the emotion in your voice.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
You know, I live in Northern California and I drove all night down till 2 a.m. to get a hotel room to interview with you guys, 10 o'clock the next morning. I'm an applicant for fire captain with your department and you've treated me so poorly. Your fire chief has insulted me. He's called me a liar. He won't give me any due process or any fair chance. And I've driven and spent hundreds of dollars to test for your department, become a member there. And you guys have treated me like SHIT. So when I hear you say that and the way you treat me as a member, an applicant for your department, and way your chief has treated me and called me a liar, I hear what you're saying, ma'am. I agree with you. But your fire chief and your board has not given fair process or due process to applicants. You treated me like crap. I've spent hundreds of dollars to test with your department to get on there, and you've gamed me and played me around and screwed me around. And my qualifications last week, Yearsley said I wasn't been on the fire department long enough. He's got 4 years volunteer time versus my 26 years. You've treated us people who try to go work for you like crap. And it's
Okay. Concerned citizen, guess what? On the 31st, he's gone, and now, from now until then, Mr. Brakebill is going to be working on hiring people.
How can
So
and
your
I
point, you have a moot point, and you've said what you have to say.
Gail, quit telling
Do I have
people
a
that
motion to
don't
adjourn?
I've
Do I have a
emailed
motion
all
to
you
adjourn?
guys. No one will get back to me. You guys tell me you work hard, and here I am spending hundreds of dollars and I can't get a hold of you on the phone, by email. And you guys, I'm an applicant, highly qualified applicant, and I can't get a fair shot.
Okay. You're on the phone. Call
Well,
in and
you're
talk
telling me
to
you're
Jim
telling me we're not
Brakebill.
tell me we're not putting in
Jim,
our
would you please turn him off?
Gail, your 3 minutes is up.
Please, the public comments are over. Do I have a motion to adjourn from anyone?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
What about voting?
What about what?